of them. You're wasting all your time and money on models. Paint what you have.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Model Club TV, episode 63. As sometimes, not always, most of the time, my co-host, Scott Johansson. How are you, sir?
You know, you have that house ape on like one time, and now I'm not even a lovely co-host anymore.
You are lovely.
I know, look at my hair.
Yeah, what is going on with the hair today? You got to explain what is up.
I had a hat on earlier because I was laying on the ground changing a starter.
Okay.
In a snowstorm, so who
Snow
knows
hat?
what happened. The lady at the post office liked it, so who cares what you think? So
You got to get some gel, what is that? The Dep? What was that crap? The goo?
dippity-doo.
Dippity-doo, that's what it was.
Got some dippity-doo with some high karate and chase the women.
You'd be good to go, man. How you doing? How are things? How's life?
Well, things are okay. I mean, you know, of course, when life balances out, more happens. So, you know, my starter went out of my car, of course, in the cold. Never happens in the summer. So,
People had to rescue you?
well, I needed someone to come turn the key while I hit the starter with a hammer, and then it started. So I was able to get the car home. And but my stepdaughter was amazed. She's like, I can't believe you just hit it and it turned on. I go, yeah, I Fonzied it. You know.
Totally fine. Hey. Oh, man.
So.
All right. We're here. Episode 63. This episode, we have Mike Swisstack on of Cthulhugizzard Customs. We just finished that interview. It went really well. I really liked it. So hang back for a little bit. That'll be coming up here shortly. And we have some other stuff going on.
And it's nice, too, to talk to somebody that's, you know, kind of a bigger guy with a beard that, like, has a brain. Okay. That's not some Neanderthal that you just said, well, he takes up space, so I'll put him in here. Okay.
Okay.
I don't want to mention any Brian Clark names, but, you know, it's...
Man, the jealousy just oozes out of you sometimes. Just oozes out.
No, that's all right.
Okay.
You know what? I get the emails. I know the truth.
Okay. Oh, I get emails too. I don't like to throw them in your face like you do, so that's okay.
I'd love to see them. Throw them in my face.
No, I don't do that.
You don't have it. That's why. You're a liar. Okay. All right. I'd also like to mention that it's Wednesday, January 25th. I know this won't air for 5 days, but today is our good friend Phil Kupka's birthday. We all know Phil's going through some health issues, but between the health issues and his treatments and stuff, if he's still watching, Phil, happy birthday.
Happy
Not
birthday,
when you
Phil.
catch up, happy birthday.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, happy birthday. Hang in there, buddy.
we miss you.
I hope this doesn't make you feel worse with some of the treatment. What else news-wise? Anything? Like just
Well, hold on. I have to
life
open my
stuff?
door again. Hold on.
Uh-oh,
I have
letting
to
the
open my
dog in.
door. Hold on.
Let's see a butt crack. Ah, dang it. Oh, no. Oh, the new dog. You switched out dogs.
No, I got the old one.
Oh, they're both in there now?
No, I just got the old one.
Oh, okay.
New one's in with Joanne.
Okay.
This guy he's happy to be with us. So.
Oh, I hope he
Pretty
doesn't
good boy.
fart.
You old bastard. Okay, sorry. He's a good boy. So anyway,
watch
yes,
any shows, any movies, see anything? Read anything? Life stuff?
Well, yeah, I saw a movie.
What'd you see?
I know you're gonna laugh.
I probably will.
Saw Elvis.
How was that?
Elvis was okay. A lot of people thought it was really dark and stuff. I don't know. I was okay with it. I mean, I didn't 100% pay attention to it, but I was about 90%. Well, and you've been in my house, so you understand. My family room's over here. The kitchen's in here. I've been spending a lot of time in the kitchen because of babysitting the dog that my wife didn't want. Who's, by the way, sitting in there on her lap right now, but that's another whole story. So, you know, I try not to put it all on her. So I've been doing a lot of my 3D printing stuff on the kitchen table. But if she's got a movie on, I'll watch it. Kind of half pay attention to it. So I saw Elvis. I thought it was okay. I thought it was okay.
I haven't seen anything for it. Is it Elvis young, Elvis old?
It's
Is it
kind of
the whole thing?
I think it kind of goes up to Vegas Elvis and kind of stuff. So it gets there. Yeah.
Dying Elvis? Is it in there?
No, they don't.
No.
No, there's not a death scene, you fucking morbid bastard. Okay.
What?
You
What?
know, and but no, it was good. I thought the guy did a good job, and and then I told you I watched Split and Glass, which I had never seen before.
Yeah.
And we talked about that a little on the Discord.
So had you seen Unbreakable before that?
Yes, but it was years ago. But so after my wife watched Split, she went back and watched Unbreakable. And then we watched
Glass.
Glass
was disappointing. I'll give you that. Like
it was kind of predictable.
Yeah.
I knew that the spoiler alert.
Yeah.
I knew the female was a protagonist, or I didn't know that they were really bad people. I mean, they were.
Yeah. Shades of Grey.
And then, because my wife got at a. What's that guy's name? M. Night
Shamalama Ding Dong.
Shamalama Ding Dong or whatever.
Yep.
So she watched Signs, which I've seen before.
Signs has one of the scariest moments, I think, in any movie. The movie's not great. It's ridiculous. But that scene where the alien walks past like the little hallway and he's watching it on TV is terrifying to me. And I don't know what it is. It makes me feel icky. Like when I don't like that at all. But I don't know.
So anyway, I did see a few movies. So
good.
There you
all
go.
right. Speaking of death in movies, as we were loading up, I just had to send Paul Gill a message and he already knew about it. Lance Kerwin died. We just gave away his autographed picture of the other day from Salem's Lot. So that just was coming across as we were getting started. So the winner of that giveaway has one of the last things he probably signed. Ugh. Maybe we're a curse. Be careful. Mike, let us know if you make it through the night. Giveaway. What do we got to give away, Scott?
What do we have to give away? Courtesy of the Jaeger Army, Jeff Yeager, Paul Gill, and gang.
Okay, very cool.
We have the latest Jaeger Army piece.
Ooh.
The Fiddler. And really nice. You know what? They're really nicely sculpted pieces. Yeah, this is the second one I've had in my hand because remember Paul sent me the Wolfman that he thinks I'm going to paint someday. And
if people want to get that on their own, if people are interested in that series, best place to go?
Get a hold of Paul, I think, or the Jaeger Army on the Jaeger Army,
yep.
or Jeff, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, we're going to give this guy away, and all you have to do is write in the YouTube comments, "I'm a fiddler on the roof." There you go.
That works. All right.
I'm a fiddler on the roof. I don't want to know what you're fiddling with. I don't care what you're fiddling with. You got to write, "I'm a fiddler on the roof."
We don't want to see pictures of what you're fiddling with. None of that.
If you win this and you are not already a member, I will throw in a Jaeger Army membership card.
Okay, cool. Is that the last one we have?
I've got one or two of those left for giveaways. So if you're not a member already and you win this, I'll throw in that too.
All right, excellent. Fiddler on the Roof. I'm a fiddler on the roof.
Thank you, Paul Gill, and Jaeger Army, Jeff Yeager, whoever else is involved with that whole mess there, Calvert, Troy, Mark, I don't know.
Whoever, that whole mess there. Oh,
it is an army. It is an army. Mark Van Tine. It is an army. It is a Jaeger Army.
As far as giveaway goes, the prize closet is clear right now. So we are accepting more stuff for giveaways. If you do want something you want to send in, we'll promote it, give it away. I'm open. Let me know. Send me an email at modelclubtv@gmail.com. And that brings me to the other things. If you would like to leave us a voicemail for the show, the phone number is 708-816-4299, 708-816-4299. We also have a Discord. We also have I almost said Etsy shop. That's with Mike. We have our Redbubble and Teespring shops. All that information is down below. But please, and also, like and subscribe. Smash that like button. Smash that subscribe button. The notification bell. Let's sound like every other YouTube channel in the world. We're getting close. 761 as of right now.
I'd like you to know too that I even liked that endless drawl movie video you did with Brian. I did like it.
Our new show.
Your new show.
Really? You helped out. Good job.
And I did help out. Anybody that goes to check that out, please read Heavy Metal Spike's comments. Okay.
It's a good comment. I loved it.
Apparently, Jason's mistaken. What band did Freebird? And I'll let you figure that out.
So, no, I want to talk about that for a second. I was not corrected by Brian. So, and I had Eagles on the brain.
I think Brian listens to Barry Manilow and Barbara Streisand. Okay.
That's pretty much the same as Skynyrd and Eagles, isn't it? I don't like
whatever. I'm so. Oh, it's not Kill Your Mother, Kill Your Father movie.
No, I can't tell the difference between most of those bands.
I will say I do want to read Spike's one comment. Movies like this bring to mind classics like The Great Escape, Jaws, or The Thing, not because they are in any way equivalent, but because I'd much rather watch those for the 30th time than this drivel. Okay, Spike. That it made me laugh out loud. It's classic. Okay, as long as some of this
I like
other
the
stuff
septic leg that's my favorite part of that comment.
Okay, which part?
The septic leg or whatever.
Yeah, that's pretty good too. So,
which reminds me, if you want to check out a good band, look up Septic Flesh. Fantastic Greek death metal band. So there you go.
And again, it's on our channel. Episode 1, a model in a movie. Willy's Wonderland.
I like that you're participating, Scott. Thank you for commenting.
You know what? No, never mind. I'm going to make you watch good movies and do something.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Maybe we will take a
So, but hey, guys, trust me, guys, girls, it's worth Heavy Metal Spike's whole rant, and then him and Jason going back and forth a little bit.
Again, good ball busting, no hard feelings. Love it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's get into news and reviews.
By the way, Skynyrd is not spelled Skynard, you moron.
How's it spelled?
Skynyrd.
Dude, I am not a classic rock guy at all.
My God.
Yeah.
Like
even growing up, like my dad is in his 70s now. So like he wasn't really a classic rock guy. So that's not what I listened. Like that, all that classic rock reminds me of the public pool when I was a kid. But like when we was driving around with my dad, like, cause that's the stuff that was always like on in the background.
Pool, what?
Yeah. Cause they always have music blasting at the pool at Lanark Pool in Lansing, Illinois.
Oh
so it was always like, WLS, but it was the classic, like the rock station at the time. So the 70s and 80s, it was all that sort of stuff. Right. Still is. So, but my dad, when we drive around, like going to church, my dad was blasting Talking Heads and the Beatles and Earth, Wind and Fire.
Now, did your dad like Fab Four early Beatles, or did he like later
like Yellow Submarine, like whatever that falls into? I don't know where that is, but it was mostly Talking Heads, Joe Cocker. Like my dad, like I grew up Joe Cocker every day. Like and I love, like to this day, I love Joe Cocker.
I love Joe Cocker, but I can't stand to watch him.
Oh, I love like a
beautiful. That Saturday Night Live bit where him and Belushi were.
Yeah, I remember that happening, but that's the kind of in Earth, Wind and Fire, Janis Joplin, like that's the kind of stuff that my dad was really into. So I wasn't like, no one in the house really listened to classic rock. It wasn't like I was never really exposed to that.
Well, your dad was right on the cusp there, though.
Yeah, it was kind of, I don't know, a little weird. All right, news and reviews.
News and reviews. All right, let's start with some news.
No, you didn't make your noise.
Oh, sorry. Start again.
just make the noise. Make the noise, puppet. Perfect. Okay. What's the first story, Scott? This is yours.
Well,
Since
we
you
got
have first-hand knowledge.
Couple big news issues.
Couple big ones.
So we're going to start with Garage Kit US Colors. And so for those of you that don't know, Jesse Garcia has been selling Garage Kit US Colors for, I believe, 12 years now. And it took the line over when Kit Builders disappeared. And he went to the people that made the Lifetone paints. He expanded the line from 48 colors to, I think, 120 colors. And
which was originally the freestyle, right? The Lifetone freestyles, right?
Yes.
He took that over?
Yeah. Yes. So, doing it for 12 years. Pandemic hits. I'll give everybody a short story. Pandemic hits 3 years ago. That's the last big shipment he got of paint. For 3 years, he could not get any paint from the manufacturer. The reasons given to him were they couldn't get pigments, because most of the pigments come from overseas to make the paints, which was a viable, thing. Then they told him they had trouble getting bottles. And then, this is all over the course of 3 years. They won't answer phones. They stopped answering emails. And done a little digging, and I guess the taxidermy places that also carry Lifetone paints are also having the same issues. They don't know if the owner of the company has died, retired, whatever has happened. No one knows.
What a mess. What a mess.
So it's a big mess. Jesse kind of sent them an ultimatum saying, look, I either need to be done or whatever, because, I can't keep doing this. So as of now, Garage Kit US Colors are no more. As of this taping. So
could change.
Unless something
could change
drastically changes,
right.
I think we're, the people, and the sad thing about that is, and everyone's going to be out there saying, well, you can always get paint, you can always find something else, and that's true. But when you lose anything that a hobby is used to, there are people that have developed techniques around using Jesse's paints.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just like there's people probably that have developed techniques around using Vallejo, Citadel, whatever paints.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if they disappeared all of a sudden, now you have to kind of rework your, maybe I use this color A, B, and C to make my Frankenstein color. And now I have to find something else. So it's it's kind of a
and the other part of that, I think, is the other side of that. It's something he made, right? Like it's sad to see something go that you've put so much time into. Like, it's hard to let go, and that's probably why he's been hanging out for so long, dealing with them.
He has, and it's really anybody that's read his posts, you can tell it's really upset him. I've had a little more firsthand knowledge of it, and I don't want to give too much away, or not that there's anything to give away, but I can just tell you that, he's pretty upset. He put 12 years into this, and it just basically the rug gets pulled out, so it
sucks when it's something you did nothing wrong. Like, when something happens and it's not your fault.
Yeah.
And
again, and Jesse will be the first one to say it. We all know Jesse. And he can be what's the right word, because I know he's gonna watch and get on my ass. He can be Jesse, okay, but
can we make that an adjective now in Garage Kit land? Don't be a Jesse.
Don't be a Jesse. Don't be a Scott, don't be a Jesse, definitely don't be a Jason, okay.
But I do.
But no, and I love Jesse. I get along with Jesse, and we're friends. And I feel bad for him, because like you said, he put all this work in, and he, like he said, him and I talked. He said if it was something I did, then I would at least like to know that. But he he didn't believe he did anything. He always paid his bills well
Yeah.
before they were due. And so it's just a case of bad business on the other end. And
Right.
it sounds like they're doing bad business with other places as well. The other bit of news we'll stream into before we get into kits. Mark Brokaw has pretty much announced his retirement from casting. And that's a big blow to a lot of people because Mark does a lot of work for a lot of people.
For a
And
long
I think
time.
what a lot of people don't realize is Mark, I believe, is 70 years old and tired.
Yeah.
You know? And I
People
think
get
he
to
just wants do his
retire.
own thing.
You know.
Now,
like,
that being said, okay, and I'm going to go out on a limb here. Mark, don't hate me, but, you know, Mark has taken breaks before and come back, so who knows? But I know this puts a lot on his friend, protege, whatever you want to call him, Bradley.
Yeah.
And the problem is there's not enough casters.
Casters
go
are
around.
dwindling. They
You know,
they really
and
are.
so it's and those two guys are, you know, they're top notch. So it's
Yeah, it's a big hole that will need to be filled somehow. And
Right.
I hope, you know, Bradley can do it. It's just one more person that's gone, and it's
well, and what
all
that
right.
does
Just wait,
is
like
that,
off the top of your head, how many casters do you think there are? Not counting yourself, because you know you do so much casting these days.
no, and I never really considered myself a caster. Okay. But a lot of the casters that were out there, Mike Evans, now Brokaw, Matt McWhirter,
Whitworth.
well, yeah. That was never reliable. But you know, so a lot of these guys have disappeared. You know, they've just, you know, or they've got daytime jobs.
Yeah.
And so they can't really handle the volume needed to cast for a lot of people.
It's tough. Like
So
just printing for people, I know it's hard. It's hard.
yes, and printing is easy compared to casting.
Easy compared to casting. Yeah.
Okay.
Like
yeah, it's
I don't know. I've been toying around with the idea as a retirement job casting, but
well, and I initially had, but it's just the older I get, the less I want to deal with other people's stuff, you know, and it's like
I feel the same way. I've spent most of my life working on stuff for other people, especially when I started painting garage kits for other people. And now I look back and I'm like, how much time did I waste doing stuff for other people and not for myself? And
so,
but if it's paying the bills, it's paying the bills at that point.
Well, and that's the thing. And, you know, I say this with anything. If you're going to cast, if you're going to paint, if you're going to sculpt, okay. I was talking to Paul the other day, and he said, Jeff walks around the house sculpting. And I guess he was telling me Jeff sculpted something on an airplane one time. He brought it, which I said to him, I said, how did he get his sculpting tools onto the plane? He says, that's a good question. I'm going to have to ask him.
That is a good question.
But, you know, I know Jeff sculpted the Ardith Bay bust for Monsters from the Woods from a hospital bed. So it's like Jeff's always working.
Yeah.
You know, and there's guys out there that paint that they get up and they paint, and this is their job. They get up and they treat it like a job.
Yeah, and you have to. Like you really,
and really
do.
Paul treats it like a job too. He gets up in the morning, he does all his casting, and by 5 o'clock he's done. Okay.
Yep.
So if you're gonna do any of this, you've got to treat it like a job. And
it can't be a
that's
side
kind of like when I first retired and I thought about doing this, it was like, man, I really like the freedom of if I feel like doing something today. Great. If I don't, okay. But you know, if I start taking on casting, then I'm more obligated. Okay.
Back to Brokaw for a second. I think we have to say, we can't get through this without saying how good of a caster he is. Like, genius level casting. Like, engineering.
I'm not going to call him. I'm not going to call him a great caster. I'm going to call him a great mold maker.
Mold maker. Okay.
Okay.
Mold maker.
Because not that you don't need know how to cast.
Yeah.
He's obviously a great caster, but the molds, and I've got a few of his molds that
That's what I meant by engineering. Like the way
worn out. Yes, he's a mad scientist, but it works. And I see Bradley doing a lot of the same stuff. And I've mad scientist stuff before too. So that's the fun part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know where Mark was with it and stuff, but I know that when I was casting, the fun was claying something up, pouring the rubber on it, and pouring that first one and working the bugs out. Okay, what do I got to do to make this nose come out? Or what do I got to do to make this earlobe come out? But then once I did that, then it's boring. And then it's like, all right, what's next? I want to do something that, I'd rather do prototypes where I got to do one and be done. Okay.
Yeah.
And 3D printing is kind of getting like that for me too.
Yeah. Now I totally get that. I'm right. There's certain things like that in my life that I'm the same way. Enjoy your retirement, Mr. Brokaw.
Yeah. I don't think he even knows who we are.
He probably doesn't. He probably doesn't. Someone show him this. Please.
But no, absolutely. And best of luck. Jesse still is going to manufacture kits. He's by no means out of business. He's still making kits. He's still selling airbrushes, and regular brushes. Okay, so he does still have stuff, but it's the paint. Right now. I don't think I've ever, maybe once before. I'm going to use this show to my own personal advantage and our massive reach that we have. If someone out there has a big head that I'm looking for, contact me. I would like to buy at a decent price the Curse of the Demon big head. So if you have contacted Mr. Brokaw,
I have not, but it says that I was waiting to see, because he said that there was when I was looking at the things, the ones he said he was still making, it wasn't one of them.
No, but he's selling his castings. So contact.
Okay, I will send. But if someone does have one, because I found out when I was watching the Guar documentary, and I've painted one before. I actually have a picture. I'll stick it up here. I'll find it, of one that I did for Terry Webb, and I've painted one before, but I never did one for myself, and I always liked it. And then I saw during the Guar documentary that Odorous Urungus, hail Odorous, who is like my favorite musician of all time. His mask that he made, his character, is based on the demon from Curse of the Demon.
Which I've never seen Curse of the Demon.
I've seen I've never seen all that, but I'm like, I just want that for my Guar collection. So
yeah, I always thought the head was cool. I didn't like the body so much, but I always thought the head was cool.
Actually, no, I did see it. Yeah, the body's kind of weird. I like the weird. Anyway, if someone has a Curse of the Demon out there,
new kits.
So
we're gonna go back to Garage Kits US.
Garage Kits US. Yep.
And we have finally, it's been a long wait. The Tin Man is done. This is part of the Denizens of Zoe series.
Yep.
And we've got some multiple angle shots here and a close up of the head. That's really kind of cool looking. I kind of like it.
Freaking love this thing.
Do you? Okay.
I think this is the best in the whole series. Like, this thing kills it. Just the technical detail in there, and just like all the little parts that look like they do something, and the extra arms and the big axe with the little axes and the wrench, like, and he still has the funnel on his head. Like, this thing's awesome.
I like the extra arms, the Tarkus Tin Man. I'm going to call him because it's.
This thing is so badass.
But no, it is. It's cool.
It doesn't even have to be the Tin Man. It's just like, it's so good. It's so good.
So before you ask Jesse 100 times, because this happens. Okay.
Would you like to go through the speaking to Jesse etiquette 101?
Yes. Okay. No, that's speaking. Read Jesse's post, because he generally will put it in there.
But let's do it, Jesse, because we know you watch this. Not everybody looks at things on Facebook. Not everybody looks at things. Sometimes they just see a picture and go, "Oh." Not everybody sees everything.
There's no price yet. It hasn't been cast. It hasn't. Okay.
There's no list.
There's no list. There's no.
It's coming.
It's coming. So go to the Garage Kit US page.
Check it every day for the next 10 months. and see if it's
And
there.
ask Jesse every day for the next 10 months if it's done yet. Yeah. Okay. And tell him Jason sent you.
No,
Okay.
don't do that. He's already hates me most of the time. So don't do that.
We got to get Jesse on here. We get him good and wound up, and we'll get him on here.
Uh-oh.
So
Good and wound up. I know how to do that.
No, Jesse knows I love him, and we bust balls with Jesse. So, so anyway, this is definitely coming, and I can't wait. Honestly, I can't wait to see. Because I'm 90% sure, 99% sure he'll have Jim Capone paint this.
Yeah,
and it'll be beautiful.
I like it a lot.
So it's another guest we should try to get on here.
Yes, there's a couple. There's a couple of their painters. Now that we're kind of back to normal, holidays are over. We're gonna reach out to guests a little more. People aren't as busy. Next kit is the Bro Shake.
The Bro Shake.
The Bro Shake from, and I'm gonna push the button. Does it work? Yes. Gilbert, King of the Models. Find them on Facebook. Gilbert, King of the Model.
You son of a bitch. All right, tell me about this.
So you've seen Predator, right?
Yes, but it's been a long time.
Okay. So when Arnold comes in and, oh shit, my brain, stroke. Apollo Creed.
Carl Weathers, you moron.
Carl Weathers. When they see each other for the first time in the movie.
Yeah, when Conan and Apollo Creed meet.
Let's go with that. When Conan and Apollo Creed in Predator run into each other for the first time, they go, "You son of a bitch," and they do the handshake. And this is basically a meme. If you've ever seen, there's a meme of a black guy and a white guy shaking hands, and it's like, hey, we can work as a team even though we're like not the same. And that's what this is. So like, it's an iconic shot in that movie where the whole shot is just their arms, their big muscly arms. And brilliantly, they made a kit.
Do we know who sculpted this? Of course we don't, because you don't ask questions.
I don't ask questions.
Paul, this is why you send me shit. Okay, because
I don't ask questions.
You don't ask questions. Paul, in the comments, let everyone know who sculpted this.
If it was important, he would have told me.
I'm sure. Okay. You know what? I'm sure the sculptor's sitting there going, "Oh, it's not important, huh? Fuck you."
That's not my fault. That he would have said.
No, it's never your fault. Okay.
But no, this is really cool. Well done.
All right.
Gilbert. If you want it, check them out on Facebook. And then from Gilman himself. I'm on top of the buttons today, man. Look at this. From Gilman himself.
Great. You don't know who sculpted it, I bet.
But I'm promoting Paul Gill himself. I don't know who sculpted it, because again, he didn't tell me. Actually, no, he did tell me, but now I forgot. It's the same guy, I think, that did his Rancor and stuff. What's his name? Michael White?
I was thinking something white, so it could be.
I think it's Michael White. All right, we'll go with that.
Paul, again, in the comments, please. He's an idiot.
And it's the Patterson Bigfoot in the beginning of his cryptid line.
You know, this show has really gone downhill since I left for a couple episodes.
What went downhill?
I mean, it's going to take like 10 episodes to get us back to
the
downhill level of excellence we were at.
As I said in the other, Jank is the show. Jank's the show. This is really cool. There was some other
Patterson Bigfoot. What does that mean? Because I know you're a conspiracy idiot. Well, why do you get mad? I don't know.
Everybody knows the Patterson Bigfoot.
No, obviously not everybody knows.
The Bigfoot video of the Bigfoot walking away, like in the woods.
Oh, the staged video, yes.
That's this. So,
by the way, be sure to put up here too the video, UFO caught on tape picture I sent you, because that was classic.
Wait, which one did you send?
The UFO caught on tape. I sent it to you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I saw the best UFO video I've seen in a long time. I saw 2. And I'm not even like, can we talk about UFOs for 30 seconds? Give me 30 seconds. There's a guy flying his drone. And are you timing me?
Go.
Okay. The guy flying his drone, and he has his drone up, and you can see the horizon. This white Tic Tac shaped thing just goes like from horizon past the drone in 3 frames.
Yeah. You know what they call that?
It wasn't a bird. They couldn't.
Reflection.
Nope, it wasn't. It's a great video. And then I saw another video of, it was an airplane of a with the contrail coming out the back, and it was shot way up, and you see this little ball come up, look at the plane, and then take a right turn and go the anyway. All right. Anyway, Patterson Bigfoot. The original pictures that he sent me, they're Scott. You don't know this. The Patterson Bigfoot image, the Bigfoot has some breasts in that Bigfoot sighting.
Well, of course he does, because he's got to feed himself.
She. Well, we're assuming
it's a she.
No,
So
we're assuming Bigfoot's gender, which is probably a bad thing. So
then it would be Bitchfoot. Well, I'll pay for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You
All
know
of
what else?
our girl watchers.
You know what else? I was
us.
reading, just for future reference, how we can get demonetized if we ever do get monetized. And language is one of the things.
We're
excessive
screwed.
swearing. So we might have to cut down on that one day. Anyway, and the original sculpt had the boobs in there, and they just look kind of weird. This is simple and sweet and has like a nice character to it. And I really like this. So this is I think he's going to do well with this Bigfoot line, or the cryptid line, and the other Bigfoot stuff that he's got coming. So well done, all involved. Look up Gilman.
Yeah, look up Bigfoot too.
Shadow Creations has a new bust coming out, sculpted by Lace Lee. I knew that one. I got that one. And it's from that, we teased it like a couple episodes ago. Boris Karloff tribute piece where he's shaking the hand of the monster through the mirror. Taken from, what was that picture from?
I'm not sure. I've seen the picture, but I'm not sure what it's from.
Yeah, it was like either like
Might have just been
I
like
bet
a
it was like a
promo.
magazine or something, like a
Could have
promo
just been a promo or something.
But no, very cool piece here we got.
Yeah, I definitely like the idea. It's an original idea. I gotta say, it's an original idea.
And it fits in well with the other kind of stuff that's been coming out, where it's the actor with the character kind of together. Well, very cool. Very cool. No price. There's no info on it yet, price wise or anything. So when we get that, we'll let you know. The back of the piece has the monster's face, your typical Frankenstein's. What is that from? Like the movie poster originally?
Not really. I don't know.
What did they use? Because you see that image a lot with the word.
It's kind of got that Basil Gogos kind of look to it.
Yeah.
So,
hey, that's a good way to paint it. Someone's interested. Up next, Chuck Homolka sent us a Monsters in Motion Swisstack bust that's available there. Land of the Lost People. There's your Swistacks. I think Chuck sent this in just to.
Those are nice.
Yeah, they're nice. Let me read what he put. This is from, I think, straight from Monsters in Motion. Here is an expertly cast one-piece resin model of a Swisstack bust from the original Land of the Lost TV series. You can build it as the classic green Swisstack or the mysterious Enoch the Brown Swisstack from their distant past. Maybe as they get older, they turn brown.
Is distant past? Is that like an oxymoron?
Distant past plus distant past.
Because I mean, if it's in the past, it would be distant.
Well, it could be even distant-er.
Distant-er. Wow.
Get your Swistacks and
run that by your pal, the English teacher, and see how that goes.
I like good words like that. Distancer. It works.
All right, what do you got next?
All right,
this is pretty cool.
This I don't know what I have here, and that's why I wanted to put this here. If people know anything about this stuff, please leave it in the comments, because once again, it's those mysterious pictures out of Japan from shows, and they drive
$170,000 yen.
Yeah, which is. You want to do that fast while I'm talking?
No, I don't want to do it.
You got a calculator?
Hey, I'll do it. Yeah, hold on.
You got the currency calculator. So let me talk. I just came across this, and I saw this 54 Godzilla kind of reimagined, not really, just like made more realistic looking, and it's badass. Like, this is like, if that's what you could do a movie with Godzilla like this, and it would work, like right now. And I don't know. It says July 24th, and it's from RYO Nendozian. I don't know if I'm even saying that right. It's on Facebook, so if you want to look it up, get on there. July 24th, Summer One Festival announcement. Number one, I received a copy rights permit on the day. Godzilla 19, and this is all through translator. Finished product, total height 32 centimeters, resin, lacquer paint, enamel paint. So that's the painted one. The finished product that has been painted. I'm thinking doing a raffle since it's so I think he raffled off this painted one. I'm not sure if there were kits available, but I wanted everyone to see this because it was so freaking cool. And then while I was clicking on that, and it linked over to this other page from Zoe Inc., Zoe Models, and they have some awesome Godzilla stuff coming out. One is a Godzilla 85, 84, the Godzilla 89, which is like one of my favorite Godzillas, the Biollante Godzilla. And they have a bunch of Gamera stuff, some Godzilla monsters, like other enemies coming. And these are shots from the show as well. And all of this, again, the Gamera, they got all three of the newer Gameras in there.
I like the, although you don't see it close, is the sea monster.
Yeah, the Ibera. Is that how you say it? Ibera?
Ibera, yeah.
Yeah, like, no one's done a great kit of that. There was a Paradise one, but no one's like, you never actually done that, I think, by itself really well. But the Godzilla, I can't tell how like big these actually, they look big. Like
so
this Gamera 3.
The first one you showed.
Yeah.
54.
Yep.
32 centimeters is 12 and a half inches roughly.
Okay. For that one, yeah.
170,000 yen is roughly $1,314.97.
Yeah, and I think that's for that painted one, that one of a kind painted one. Going over to these,
but that's nice. I gotta say, dude, I would have a hard time not buying that.
Yeah, me too.
If it was reasonably priced.
Me too. I just the face just looks monstrous. Like, love it.
Now I don't know. Is this stylized a little bit or
yes?
No?
I think it is. It's like brought more like into
like because the legs look wrinklier.
Yeah, I think they've like kind of mixed, mishmashed.
Cool. I
like some of like the newer textures with the old Godzilla. It's awesome.
I'm going to send this to one of my Godzilla experts. Maybe he can shed some light.
You know
who else might? Robert Trock might be able to help.
Yeah, Robert Trock. If you know what this stuff is, and this Zoe stuff, because I love this Gamera 3 that's here, and this Godzilla 84, 85. That one. I would say 84, 85 because it came out 84 in Japan and 85 here. I remember seeing that Godzilla movie with my one grandma. Great stuff. It looks like the jaw moves on this one. I don't see height or anything else on these, but man, really cool. And then the other thing that was on there, which will come up later in our episode here, is they're re-releasing Nirasawa's Man Chrysalis as a pre-painted something. And they had his grandfather, like there was like a little like introduction from his grandfather talking about this on one of the pages. I just wanted to see people that maybe there's hope for some of this old Nirasawa stuff coming back through this company. So Zoe Models.
I don't know what this piece is, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's like Nirasawa is one of his old sculpts, and I don't even know if it was released through Future or not. But to see them bringing this stuff back is just, I hope more stuff like that comes out. But that's what I got there. On to our winner. You want to walk us through the land of cartoons, Scotty?
The land of cartoons and Hanna-Barbera. And our friend Well has been busy, as always. This is an older Hanna-Barbera character, Loop-de-Loop, the wolf. And I just printed one of these up for a client, and it prints up really well. Especially if you print it the size the guy wants, not the size you initially did it at. So that's another whole long story. But anyway, real easy print, but really, again, nice, clean, well-engineered piece. I mean, what can I say about this guy that I haven't already? Okay.
Yeah.
And then if we move on to the Jetsons,
we have the updated picture. Yep.
That the Rosie the Maid and Mr. Spacely extension pieces are now also available separately, and comes with you can attach them to this piece, or you can display them. That little bottom arm will come off, and you can just display them on their own. So those are now available as well.
He does such a good job coloring. It's 3D.
Oh, his renders are beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. The robot
his renders are beautiful. And then another one just came out, and I remember telling him he had to do this after he did El Kabong, was Quick Draw McGraw.
Yeah.
And, most people always do quick draw kind of walking or something, or just standing straight up and down.
Mm-hmm.
So this is got the guns going, and I really like this piece. It's simple but really nice.
He's saying, "I'll make you famous." That's what he's saying.
Yeah. So I'm trying to make him famous.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get the guy.
And then right as we were coming on, I saw this.
Yes, and
hence the
the
quality.
picture's a little blurry, but
it's pulled from a Facebook story.
Yeah. And it's a Woody Woodpecker piece coming to his Patreon, but you can also probably buy from him direct. So he's busy. And I know there's another piece. I think the Galaxy Trio is coming as well. So we'll probably have that in the next episode.
Okay. From CG Blade and Pseudoverse Creations, they have prints available from We Make Monsters. And the first one, they have other ones, but the first one, he's kind of doing a little sale here. The Gorgon, which looks like your classic old garage kit. And we have some stills from the movie, but here's the kit. And then let me read what he sent. The Gorgon Hammer Films 1/6 scale sale is going on until February 24th. Here are the details. There's a code for 15% off the regular price only for Model Club TV subscribers and their families. Gorgon 15 is the code at checkout. So yeah, he's running a sale on the Gorgon. So let me repeat that again. Gorgon 15 is the code at checkout for the We Make Monsters through Pseudoverse Creations and CG Blade. Comments, Scott. This is I think if you painted
I think what you said is exactly right. It looks like a classic garage kit.
Yeah. It does.
So
really does.
likenesses look pretty cool.
And I think if you painted it up like this, almost like Basil Go-Go style thing here, that would look really nice.
Never seen the movie, so I don't know, but
I've never seen it either.
Thanks, so CG. Next, I found this, and when you put this picture up, make it horizontal or vertical instead of horizontal.
What is this? When I was like, uh-oh, what is this?
So this is, and I know all you 80s Gen, what is it, Z? What are you, Gen X?
X.
Okay, X. Whatever. The X-Men. You're all stuck on Sigmund and the Sea Monsters and
that's still
Land of the Lost. But before that, we had cool stuff like H.R. Puffin stuff.
Yeah.
And one of the cool things about H.R. Puffin stuff was the talking flute, Freddie the Flute. And just screwing around.
Oh, this is a flute.
This is a flute.
I thought it was something else.
Of course you did. And the little divots in it, because the flute was jeweled. So the little divots are in there so you can go to Hobby Lobby or something, buy rhinestones and put them in there. You can filament print this too, in some of the silk filament like I've shown before here. As a matter of fact, where is it? I just had it here today because I showed you that, hey, look, I printed this finally. What did I do with it?
The silk gold?
Lost it already. Oh, here it is. So for those of you not familiar with filament printing, it's like you're printing actual plastic. It's almost melting it and layering. Well, it is melting it and layering. So, but they have what they call silk filament, and it prints almost metallic.
Yeah.
And this is kind of a yellow gold or orange gold metallic silk, and you get a really nice finish in this. So you could print something like this in this too. Because I printed this dragon also in the same stuff.
Now we're back to the dragon, huh?
I love the dragon. I got to fondle the dragon at least once an episode. So, so it would be good to print. It would be good to print like that. But it was kind of cool. And it's only a $3 STL.
Oh, cool. So,
okay. Check that out.
And then Cipriano, the class.
Mr. Cipriano, and I know we touched on this last time, but there is a sale is still going on. I think through February or into February. 50% off. So it's $25 class. So if you like Tony's last two classes, here's another one. Should be finished. They're running a little behind. Tony lost his pup, I believe, of 15 years, Sophie.
Oh, no.
And interesting story about Sophie. And kudos to Tony and his wife. And of course, you're a dog hater, so you wouldn't appreciate this.
Not a dog hater.
Sophie is a miniature dachshund. And when she was, I think, 2 or 3, she hurt herself. and they had that back surgery and everything. Long story short, she lost the use of her back legs. Okay. A lot of people at that point in time would put a dog down and figure it's a quality of life issue. Tony and his wife, Suzanne, went the other way, and they bought her a custom wheels, and they would have to 3 or 4 times a day. Tony's wife would have to express her bladder so she can empty her bladder. Okay. And but the dog lived a normal life. I don't know how they do it, so don't ask, because I don't know how you do that. But the dog lived a normal life, chasing stuff with her wheels behind her and running, and they would take her for walks in a stroller and stuff like that, and she would boss around all the bigger dogs they had over the years. So yeah, condolences to Tony. That was his baby girl.
Sorry.
So, and you know what? I told Tony this: you guys didn't give up on that dog where most people would have.
Yeah.
And so good, kudos to him.
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
So hopefully the class will get back on track here and finished up. And so now the next up, I guess, are some paint jobs we've seen.
Yeah, I had to share this. This is like,
it's beautiful,
dude.
And look at the size of it.
I know. So let me just read what this is from Land Studio, and his name's Michael. Land Studio. So please, I know he's on Instagram, he's on Facebook. Go check out his work. Amazing painter. But I came across this and it just jumped out at me. It is so well painted that it doesn't look real. And you have to look at it in his hand, like, to really truly appreciate.
Yeah, that's what got me.
How good that is.
How small it is.
How small it is, and how just like, because when you look at a picture of this by itself, you're like, oh, that's huge. It's photoshopped. It's airbrushed. It still might be like, I think he hands.
I was just going to ask, because we have this conversation coming up.
Honestly,
Mike,
I think it's all brush painted.
Yeah.
Or maybe a little bit airbrush in there, but I think there's a how-to or step-by-step in his Instagram or on his Facebook page. But please go check out his work. When I talk about people being amazing painters or things that I've seen, this is one of those things that just jumped out at me, and I wanted to share this with everybody. So Land Studio, Michael, amazing, simply amazing. I'm sure you don't watch our dumb show or have any idea who we are, but if this gets back to you and you think we're trying to steal your picture or anything, it's all out of honor, and this is just beautiful. And I want people in our side of the world, non-miniature people, to really see what, like,
look at the eyes. Oh,
dude, it's great. It hurts to look at. That's how good it is. It's just, drool. And the company it's from, their miniatures sell out within seconds. I tried to get one once and it was gone within, they do really limited
and again,
stuff.
You look at that and go, is that cast? Is that printed?
It's cast. It's cast. They do castings of stuff, and it's Ignis Art is the, look up Ignis Art as well on Instagram and Facebook. Great stuff they have, but most of it's almost always sold out. They do really limited runs of things, and this was the box art for it. And I can't even, oh my God, it's so good. And then you found this one.
I found this one.
I saw it too, but you grabbed
it. Jeff, and I don't want to screw up his last name.
I can't see it.
Yeah, it's Faraone.
Okay.
So Jeff, if I screw
or Farone?
Farone, but there's an A in there, so I don't,
Okay.
So he took his Pestilence Labs, hit the button, Pestilence Labs, Creature from the Black Lagoon kit, Shanna and Mark Worthling. Notice Shanna's name went first. But anyway, I believe that kit is still available. I think there's still a few of those left. And he decided to paint his, like, the glow box art. It's like looking at the box art. It's amazing. It is just amazing. Wow.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. And it just goes to show how really, like, what a versatile kit this is. Again, like we showed Matt K's last week, this one this week, the cool things you can do with these box art tribute pieces. Yeah, well done. Kudos.
Yeah, and this is the kind of stuff that makes me, by the way, never want to paint.
And then this one?
Which leads me to this one, also makes me never want to paint. Okay. It's from Matt Morozic.
Yep.
Matt's Custom Models. And Matt's got, I didn't realize this, Matt's got a shit ton of Facebook how-tos. Or not Facebook, YouTube how-tos.
Okay. Yep.
And so if you want to link that
Will do.
here, and I ask him a few questions on this one.
I'll have the information down below.
Unfortunately, this is not an STL that's available. It's a kit. And so here's what I like. And well, first of all, I'm going to say I think the paint job is perfect. Okay. When they started painting some of these things in these like kind of metallic finishes, I was kind of on the fence. I thought it was cool on some stuff and some stuff it wasn't. This, it works for me. I don't know why it works for me. And the base, and just the base, like if you see the bottom half of the base, how the finish Matt gets on that, and the shine on it, it's just, I don't know. His work is really clean. I asked him what he used to mask stuff off, and he says, just masking tape and a new X-Acto knife. So he's got some videos on masking.
I have a feeling he'll bring it.
And then what I want to say about this, what I like about this piece. Okay, first of all, I'm going to say just the one thing I don't like about this piece, and that is too muscular. Okay, I mean it's kind of, and you see this a lot in 3D sculpts now. Stuff is too muscular. Okay,
but I think it fits a very, like if you look up a comic drawing of Spider-Man, not your Spider-Man, but a more recent Spider-Man.
What I do like about this, it's classic Spider-Man costume. And I showed this picture of the back because you see that spider on the back? That's classic John Romita Spider-Man costume. Same with the eyes, same with the mask. This is what I really love about this piece. Okay. If this piece was available reasonably priced, because I think this is one of those high-priced superhero things from these other guys.
Yeah.
I would probably buy this piece. There's also a version, as you can see, the two versions. One has his hands clenched in a fist.
Yeah.
One they're open, and I think there's different heads available too.
So they just plug in.
So,
yeah.
But I don't know. And if you're a fan of this style painting, this is beautifully done.
I think the metallic works perfectly because it mimics the way that the colors work in a comic. Mm-hmm. It creates those highlights where they need to be, and I think it works. You're right; it works perfectly on.
So really nice work, Matt. And maybe we'll get Matt on one of these days too. So,
all right, we're gonna skip the workbench because of time issues because we have our interview. It's going to be a really long episode already.
Why don't we just talk about your workbench for a minute there?
Why? Oh, okay.
Okay, so what did you have on your workbench?
I finished the Dot from Animaniacs.
A month ago.
But I kept forgetting to show it. Never showed it. I showed it the in progress stuff, so I did finish it, and I got that off to Lori over at the comics.
An Amazing Fantasy Books and Comics in Frankfort, Illinois.
And I took some quick pictures, and I totally forgot they were on my phone.
Lori even has a tattoo of this. And it's turned out, you know what? I mean, I realize you sucked up and didn't give me any credit for this idea, even though it was my idea. But I will say you did a really nice, clean job on this.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
I would
Everyone
say,
write down the date. Scott complimented me.
What did you use to mask this off? Because
I didn't. Where?
Or did you freehand the black?
I freehanded the black and the white. Everything.
Wow.
The only thing I masked off was where the plugs for the hand, so no paint got on it, and the neck. Everything else was freehand. I didn't mask it.
Okay. All right. So that's a workbench. That's good enough.
That's good. Yeah, we're out of time. So we have a great interview for you. I reached out to Mike Swisstack of Cthulhugizzard Customs a while back, and we finally, because again, holiday stuff and everything going on, want him to come on as a guest. So we haven't had a guest in a while. Fun interview. Enjoy. Joining us now is Mike Swisstack. How are you, sir?
Hello, Jason. Scott, how's it going, guys?
Hey, Mike.
Hey, thank you so much for joining us. It's kind of been in the works for a little while. I talked to you like about a month ago, and I'm glad you're finally able to join us. Been enjoying seeing your work online for a very long time. Bought some stuff recently, and I thought, hey, we got to get you on. So thank you for coming and agreeing to sit down with us two knuckleheads for about an hour.
Oh, thank you.
What part of the country are you in?
I'm in New Jersey, good old Jersey.
Oh, a Jersey guy.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
another Jersey guy. Oh my God.
Yeah.
We're at New Jersey.
Well, I was born and raised in Rahway, New Jersey, the place with the jail. But now I live a town over in Winfield, little right between like Linden, Clark area.
Is this near Jersey Devil area or far away from there?
Yeah. Well, Jersey Devil area is more down south with the Pine Barrens.
Okay.
So I'm more upper middle New Jersey, kind of.
More mobster area? Like,
Near Elizabeth.
okay.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, Jason, Jersey's the size of like Chicago, so it's like
That's true. How did you get started? Did you start out as a painter or did you start out as a sculptor?
Okay, I started as a painter. Technically, I started painting like Warhammer 40K and D&D miniatures when I was like 15 years old. I got a job in a place called the Game Room.
Okay.
And it was a store that sold all kinds of games and Warhammer stuff, and that was it. So I started painting at like 15 on the lead miniatures, man. Loved it.
Okay. Personal question. How old are you now?
I am 50 now.
Okay. We're about the same age. So we started. So you're an old Games Workshop guy from way back when, like all that kind of stuff and D&D, and that's cool. Me too. Since Scott has no idea what we're going to talk about for the next 10 seconds, what's your favorite Warhammer faction? What are you, a fantasy guy or are you a 40K guy?
No, 40K, definitely 40K.
Okay, so in 40K, what's your go-to army? I've never played, but I've painted millions. What do you like the most?
Yeah. I mean, the thing that gets me the most, I always loved Nurgle, the Chaos and Nurgle, but I mean, like, the thing that brought me back after years of not having anything to do with it were, like, the Knights, you know, the big giant robot.
I'll throw a picture up here so everyone in Garage Kit World knows what we're talking about, because it's just you and I at this point. The big Knights, those are great. So those new Chaos Knights look really, really good, too.
Awesome. Yeah. They blow me away how they're doing these plastic miniatures now. The detail in the plastic miniatures, it blows my mind what they're doing.
I wish more Garage Kit guys would take a moment to just like pick up one of those model kits and put one together, because they are insane with the amount of detail and parts, and engineering quality is amazing on some of that stuff. Yeah, Warhammer's great. I'm an orc guy. I love orcs. Anything orc and Nurgle, that's me. So that's cool.
Yep.
So you started painting. How did you find Garage Kits?
Well, from hanging out with all the dudes at the store that were into the miniatures and stuff, we heard about this thing called Horathon in New Jersey, and it was like this first little resin model kit show that was held in a theater. And we went to it, and my mind was blown. And this was 1990, 89, 90. This was early, so there wasn't much. But just from seeing the few early Golden Age era Garage Kits, my mind was blown. And I don't know. I don't even know if I came home from the first show with the... I did. I came home with the Demon Bunny Rabbit coming out of the top hat from Twilight Zone, the movie.
Yeah.
Garage Kit. Little tiny guy. Terrible kit, but awesome sculpt. But totally air bubbly. Probably been recasted 8 times, because I believe that was a Japanese kit originally. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Historian, do you remember this?
I know the kid he's talking about.
I remember seeing that picture in Terry Webb's book over and like.
Yeah, and if it was in Terry Webb's,
it's not big. It was.
Yeah, if it was in the early books, it probably was a Japanese kit that got jacked around quite a bit. So.
Yep. Because it was a mess. It was a terrible, terrible quality kit. But I mean, this was the early days. So.
Yeah, we haven't we talk about it on the show once in a while, but I don't think people. I mean, and Scott, you can talk about this too. People don't realize how bad kits used to be sometimes, or they have purposely forgot how bad they were.
Yep. No, every single kit you got, you were doing major seam lines, you were filling stuff. But I mean, that was kind of I didn't care, because I was so excited to have a resin model kit that it was part of the fun. If I had to spend, and doing that is what led to me sculpting. because it started with me just getting milliput to fill in air bubbles and to fix offset seam lines. But then it quickly morphed into, well, I could add a little more detail, and that was where the sculpting came into. Definitely.
Both real quick, can you think of like the worst kit you've ever had? Well, Scott hasn't built. What's the worst kit you've seen, Scott? Or what's the worst kit you've ever built? Not to like point fingers at people, because that's just how it was.
I had to build a armored Batman versus Predator kit in the early to mid 90s for a friend of mine, Rich Hilliard. He got the kit and he was going to paint it, but he's like, dude, I'm not, this thing needs so much resculpting and so much. So I took it on, and that actually, it was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun because it was a lot of just filling in armor and but that was probably one of the roughest kits I've ever worked on.
Yeah, Resin from the Grave, Kong versus T-Rex would be the one that I go to. It's a beautiful kit, but it's...
I think mine is the Dr. Chenard from Netherworld. That big base and the offset on the two parts was like an inch, and you had to somehow like smooth it out, and then just the detail on the suit. I wish more people could kind of see. Maybe one of these days I'll dig out. Scott, do you have any Resin from the Grave?
Yeah, I have that. I still have that one.
We should do that for the next What's in the Bin, is pull that out and show people some of those things. So once you started sculpting, how did, explain how you got going on that, and where the idea for Cthulhugizzard and everything, where that all came from?
I think I was sculpting on I had a Simon Lee kit. I think it was Becoming, that kit, one of his early Simon Lee crazy metamorphosis guy kits he had.
I have it sitting in a box right over there. I wish I could grab it.
Yeah.
I could show everybody.
And there was a lot of places that had really, really bad seam lines on it and had missing detail. So I just started adding some, adding some little bit of kind of weird fleshy details to go with it. And I probably got carried away. I might have added more than I should have added to it. I added a whole extra mandible jaw coming out with actual little tiny shark teeth in it and stuff. But one of these days I got to dig it out and revisit that. But that kind of started it. And then I quickly decided, I can sculpt now. So I tried sculpting an alien from the Alien movies head. And it was atrocious. It was terrible. It was unsymmetrical. It didn't look right. And it upset me so much, I kind of stopped sculpting,
Yeah.
And for years I didn't sculpt. I would do repairs and things, but it wasn't until, I guess, probably about 8 years ago. And I've still been buying resin kits like crazy. I mean, I've been addicted to buying other people's resin kits for 35 years. So always was doing that. I bought a kit from a guy, Todd Carlin, on Facebook, Thumbprint Studios or Fingerprint Studios, and hooked up with him, and then ended up painting some kits for him and painting some kits for another guy, and they invited me to the Jersey Fest show. And this is maybe 7 years ago at this point. And when I went there and saw it all, man, it just got me again to be back into it. And that was really, I said, you know what? Maybe I should try sculpting again. And that was it. I just started it and didn't get discouraged from one ugly sculpture. This time I just didn't instantly try to produce my first one as a kit like I tried to do 30 years earlier, and just sculpted it, put it aside. If it wasn't good, cool, just sculpted a new one. And then it started working a little bit better for me.
Going back just a little, do you have any sort of art background? What do you do for a career before that?
Well, now this is it full time.
Okay, cool.
I did always want to be an artist. I always liked art. When I graduated high school, I actually went to the School of Visual Arts in Manhattan.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
My idea was I wanted to be in special effects. I always loved monster movies and makeup and monsters so much that I went through their film department, and that was the goal. The thing was that I had been dating Jen, my wife, all through high school. And to make it in the film industry in the early 90s was kind of like you either go out to California or you're not in the film industry. So I decided she graduated college a year before me and got a good job teaching. So I gave up on that to stay home and stay with her and be with her, and got a job doing displays for trade shows and amusement parks with that guy Rich Hilliard that I mentioned earlier, an artist.
So
I
we
did that
almost-
for 10 years out of college.
We almost have the exact same life story, which is so strange. So I became an art teacher. Your wife's art teacher.
I don't think Mike was in a traveling gay bondage show or whatever.
Maybe we haven't got to that point now. It wasn't gay.
Okay.
Some.
Not a gay bondage, but it was a traveling bondage, right?
But I had the exact same thing. I went to college thinking like I wanted to do special effects as well. And I went to the art department at the college and then was like, went into the sculpting class. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to Joe Blasco and check out that school. And went down to Florida, Universal Studios, where Joe Blasco was. Have I told this story, Scott, on the air ever?
So no, otherwise I'd be asleep already.
I hate you. So I went to Joe Blasco, and a friend of mine had gone like the week before to go interview for the school, basically. And I'm just a dumb kid. Like, I was 18 years old. I don't know how, like, I get down there and it's the same thing. It's like, you're either going to be here or you're going to be in California. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to go to California. I want to kind of work on stuff in Chicago. I don't want to leave. And I'm not sure. And then this guy the guy that was like the vice president at the time of Joe Blasco was the guy interviewing all of us. And he told me a story about how some photographer screwed up his headshots and he had a gun in his desk and he was going to threaten this guy with his gun and all this stuff. And I'm like, but my friend who had gone the week before or 2 weeks before, the guy told them the exact same story. And it just totally put me off as like, this is just some Hollywood dude talking out his ass. I don't want to go to school for this guy. And like, and it instantly like, he goes, well, I can't recommend you for the school because, you know, I didn't like suck up his bullshit like he wanted. And it totally put me off to that. And then right around that time is when I started getting into garage kits as well. So, and then I went into teaching art. So it's like, that's cool. And I always, and you probably feel the exact same way with the TV show Face Off and like all this other stuff and YouTube, all this stuff that has happened since we were young that would have made special effects, getting into special effects so much easier. And I don't want to sound like the grumpy old man, but I am with this, is that kids these days, they have so many more opportunities to get into that kind of stuff than we did. And it sucks, but here we are, you know, things worked out.
Probably saved my life working out this way because I've never been happier than with my wife. We got a good thing going, been together 35 years now. Congratulations. If I went to Hollywood at 25 years old, I'd be dead from drug abuse. I'd be dead 15 years now. So she keeps me here in Jersey, keeps me safe, keeps me calm. It works good.
I get you. I get high school sweethearts. That's awesome.
Gets out of line. She hits the shock collar. He falls right back.
That's it. That's exactly.
That's why he's got the big beard. There's a shock collar under there, and when he
hides it.
Yeah, he hides it, and then when he gets out of line,
that's fantastic. Oh my gosh!
Every once in a while, you're getting a little trigger happy there, Jen.
Oh man.
That's true. It's 100% true.
Thinking back, what are some of your favorite kits that you've ever built? Things not the ones you've done. We're gonna get into that, but like just like so in your collection of model kits, what are some of your favorite? Like, what's your favorite subject matter? What do you like to collect? What do you like to build?
Okay, my favorite were like the future models, man. Takaya, Nirasawa. I got a steamer trunk in my basement where I've got almost every single one of them original unbuilt kits.
Okay.
Still in a box.
Now we know where to go. Like when you when you go missing.
Could you give us that address, Mike, again?
Yeah. I got the one I built, and my favorite is probably still is sitting now.
That's a great kit.
Built that 30 years ago. And I got it one of these days. I got to take it apart, clean it, and rebuild it and repaint it now. But that's one of my favorite. Like now I have the ambassador servants that could go on the side when I redo it. So, but
those are hard to find.
Always
good find.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. I've had all that stuff since the Chiller, like 92, 93 Chiller Theater shows in Jersey.
Oh, wow.
I was buying them from the Future Model guys, dude. There for 2 or 3 years. They actually came from Japan.
They came
girls.
to...
Didn't they have girls with them?
Yeah, they came to Resin Heads
Wonderfest.
once. Yeah, or they came to Resin Heads or... Did they go to Wonderfest once? I think they did.
I've never been to Wonderfest, but I believe they did. I believe they did.
It was yeah.
Yeah, they did have girl. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
They're
but
beautiful girls.
What's funny is none of those things are they're beautiful. And I'm familiar with what they all are. I don't own any of them. I don't. But I will say, of all of them, Sitting Hell is probably my favorite one.
Yeah, it's like, awesome.
In the pantheon of garage kits, it's probably like it's in that top 10, right? Like,
I like the Soriana stuff too. Some of it, the Commando,
the big women,
and I like the Lady Slave, even though it's a little over the top. For some reason, I just always thought it's a nice sculpt. I could never display it in my house, so I never bought one. But it's
Oh, we have a bunch of those too that I bought for Jen.
Yeah, and it's not that I'm a prude or anything. And like I say, I look at it and go, it was just really, I don't know, the pose on that Lady Slave was just so elegant.
Yep.
I mean, and for what it was, and it was still so elegant,
Yeah.
And the Commando, I think I just always liked the idea of the Commando.
I just sold my Commando last Wonderfest. Remember?
Oh.
I'm like, I'm never gonna build it, and I sold it to Jen's. To Jen's Porter out in. So it went to Germany, which is cool. Went to someone who appreciated it, cool. So that's good.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I don't mind selling them if I know they're going to somebody who really likes them. He's gonna love the kit like I love it. So.
And there's really no like. In your opinion, is there anyone that we haven't really had anyone on that can talk about future stuff? So. I don't think there's anyone really that fills that hole in the hobby. There's can you think of anyone? There really isn't.
No, I mean, Mano GK is starting supposedly to release stuff again. That's basically, I think, if you remember Hell Painter guys back in the day who were painting other people's stuff, but then started releasing some of their own kits. And I have a bunch of those too. And then I believe they started doing Mano GK, and that was like Soichi was one of their big sculptors. He did a lot of like the Prey Mantis woman sculpting, which is insane.
Yeah, that thing's really nice.
Insane detail on it.
Do. They're probably the closest. I think you're right. Yeah, and then even like in 3D print world, there isn't a lot. It's mostly superheroes and girls. There isn't a lot of like just future kind of stuff, which I wish there would be. You'll find some of that in the miniature, like 3D print. There's some guys that are putting out some cool stuff, but man, I miss future so much. I wish they would come back. Anyway,
what I liked about any of that stuff from Japan is the quality, and even with the Godzillas and the anime kits. The quality of that stuff is just amazing.
It was always way beyond.
Yes.
I think my favorite thing about Future is the smell. Like, am I the only one? Their kits smelled different than everyone else's.
No, they got a unique resin.
They had a very unique resin smell to it, and you knew it was when you opened that box. It was like, Future kit. Like, and only Future guys kind of know. Like, it smells like. Do you have a damaged Zoram?
Yes.
Me too. I got one from Dan when he sold it. Okay. I'm gonna paint that.
I have the damaged Zerum of Zerum 1. And I have the big giant crazy damaged Zerum from Zerum 2, the Batman one.
Oh, I don't have the Bat one.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Or no, that's the one. Wait, which is the bust where he's like this?
The one where he's kind of holding his chest open and he's got that's the Batman. That's 2.
That's the one I have. And then I have the original one where he's standing.
Yep. And then the damaged Zerum 1 is the one where it's the crazy Zerum 1 wide brimmed hat upside down, and there's like a whole like skeletal.
I never had that one. You got that too? Oh
yeah. I'm sculpting some new Zerum pieces based on that stuff right now. It was part of my last 31. I just got to finish them up. But
So yeah, let's start there.
like 3 new pieces.
Your 31 heads of Halloween that you do. How did you get that idea?
Yeah.
And then kind of explain people. And then if people can go see some of that stuff, where's the best place to see that? Like on their own, if they want to go through your work.
It honestly started because when I first started sculpting again about 8 years ago, the way I did it was, and I'm really, really, really freaking OCD. Like everything in my life has got to be, I don't know, dude, I'm nuts, but it works. It's the one thing I've learned to focus my insane stubbornness and my OCD into my art, and it grew. So,
Okay.
But the first time I decided to start sculpting again is I sculpted one little like quarter scale skull relief that I liked, and it worked. So that was it. I did that for 6 days in a row. I'm going to sculpt until I sculpt something I don't like. And that was it. I sculpted 6 skulls. I liked them and molded them up. So that really started the 31 heads, this sculpting for like 1 week straight. So months went by, maybe half a year, and I started seeing people talking about this 31 days of like Inktober where they're drawing and stuff.
Yeah.
And I said to my wife, I was like, you know what? That would really be a good way for me to get better at sculpting. If I'm doing it every day and not painting every day for a month and see what happens. And that's where it came from. So that October, which was, I guess, 6 or 7 years ago now, I did it. I sculpted and again, they're at first they were real small and really just kind of sketches, but and I didn't intend to mold them up. They were just one-off sculpted with epoxy clay with Magic Sculpt. But I'll be damned if 26 of the 31 didn't sell right off quick. So once that happened, I said, well, okay, maybe I should do that again, but this time mold them up. And then that's really how it started. It started as an exercise to get better at sculpting, but then that first year, all but 5 of them sold. And the 5 that didn't sold were ones I really didn't want to sell, and I kept, and I molded those up. So it ended up being like really good for me.
Yeah, it's great to watch. When I was watching, like following along when you were doing that stuff, just to watch you go through, and each day knowing there's something else coming, like, man, it's a lot of work. But man, they turn out great. If people want to see it, Facebook or Etsy, where's the best place to see that stuff?
Either Facebook or Instagram on either my Mike Swisstack or my Cthulhu page. I have them on both of them.
What's your Instagram
on Facebook,
account?
Instagram is Cthulhugizzard.
Okay.
Or Mike Swisstack, but between the Mike and the Swisstack's one of them little like a dash, but the low dash.
Okay.
I'm looking at the Etsy page right now.
But I think
we were talking too. So that's there as well for folks. Do you sketch this stuff first, Mike, or do you just start with a blob of clay and whatever comes to your head while you're doing it?
I almost never sketch anything drawing wise. I do draw a little tiny bit, but no, honestly, what I normally do is almost every sculpt that I do, I start with a resin cast skull that I sculpt. So like those skulls that I sculpted initially, I cast them. And then I use those skulls as armatures for everything. So now at this point, I have like 15 different skulls from 1/6 scale. Yep, my little guy I just did, up to like big 1/3 scale and half scale skulls, and molded them all up and cast them. So anytime I'm going to start, especially with the 31 heads, they all get based on one of my resin cast skulls. Now, most of those will get pulled out of a mold and then dremeled. All the detail will get dremeled off it. So it's basically starting like a skull armature where it has no detail, no teeth on it. Depending on what I'm sculpting, I may have to take a lot away from, but everything I start is basically started on one of my skull armatures. This way, I don't have to wrestle with symmetry and stuff like that, which helps a lot during the 31, because if I just started with a lump of clay for the 31, I'd waste hours just trying to get that at a base shape, so almost everything starts with a skull.
Right. And where did Jennifer get the nickname Squid, and why?
But just because all the way back from when we were kids in high school screwing around, she'd all hug up on me, and I'd be like, damn, it's like a squid grabbing me. And it just
That's
always stuck, and she loves squids and octopuses, so that ended up becoming her artist name.
That's awesome.
You asked me earlier about Cthulhugizzard. I hate to admit it, but Cthulhugizzard was me and a friend from high school sitting around drunk one night at about 3 in the morning when I got a Sega Dreamcast. And it was the first video game system I ever had where you could actually attempt to go online.
Yep.
So we're sitting there drunk one night and like, all right, I got to come up with a good online name. And of course, I've always been all my life a huge Lovecraft fan.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, it's got to be something with Cthulhu and something, and I always had a bit of a belly on me. So I don't know, Cthulhugizzard just popped in there. So technically, that was like my gamer tag for playing online video games back in the, I don't even know, I guess the late 90s now, whenever that
Yeah, that was around 2000, I think, when Dreamcast. Had to be late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay, yeah.
Do you remember what game that was you were getting on? Was it Phantasy Star Online?
Yeah, I definitely played a lot of Phantasy Star on that one. Yep. It might have been Phantasy Star.
I love that game.
Might very well have been.
Do you have a favorite piece that you've done?
I got 2 or 3 pieces that I really want to revisit. Possibly my favorite thing I've ever done was one of my fighting cloths. I might have sent it like the zombie robe bust tie with all of the hoses.
Yes.
That was a one-off sculpt. So I sold that, and I always kick myself that I got to go back and actually figure out a way to make a bust of that that's castable. And do
I was gonna
that.
say, I wouldn't want to
Another one.
Yeah. That's
a casting
the one I think
nightmare.
it is. It could be tricky to cast.
Yeah.
Another one of my favorites was my Skeksis, my Chamberlain Skeksis from the Dark Crystal.
Yep.
And that's a bit of a nightmare. I mean, I can't blame nobody on that one because it was my own being naive and not having really done it before. But I only got paid $250 for that sculpt, for that big giant. I mean, that's like an 11.5-inch tall sculpt, that Skeksis with the Dark Crystal.
Oh wow.
And was never up to sell it because I sculpted it for another company to produce. So I love that kit, but he's a little bit of a sour one with me. But I've already got a new one going in the progress of being sculpted that'll be released exclusively through me, and then I don't have no worries. But I still have 2 of those big Skeksis. Yeah,
can I make a suggestion for next year's Halloween heads?
Yeah.
Can you do Skeksis and Dark Crystal heads?
Yeah.
That would be awesome to do, like Skeksis, Mystics, Gelfling, like do a Gartham, like that whole anything, like even maybe just Jim Henson heads. That would be kind of cool. I want to talk about this though for a second. Just looking at your paint job on here. Are you a brush painter? Are you an airbrush guy? Are you both? Are you like, what do you use?
Just strictly brush.
That's what I thought. So I want how do you blend? Because the blends on here are really nice.
Oh, thank you. It all goes back to my stubbornness. Back at a model contest in '92 at Diller Theater, I had a guy tell me, "You'll never be able to hang with the airbrushers." This is when I painted my Sitting Hell kit, and I took it in there. And one of the judges, who's a professional sculptor, who I absolutely love, everybody loves him. He's one of the greatest sculptors, but he did not like my paint jobs. He thought I was lying that I didn't airbrush. And he actually told the judges and the people at Chiller that if I got the first place, he'd never be a guest judge again. So I lost to a lizard from Star Trek. A guy painted a lizard from Gorn, and he beat me, which, okay. But it was just a single Gorn figure against this. I did a whole diorama for Sitting Hell and crazy. But they told me, well, look, man, you're young. It's all right. You got a lot of time, but you got to learn how to airbrush. You can never hang with us airbrushers. And stubborn ass that I am. So, yeah, I'll never touch an airbrush ever. I was at a Chiller Theater, and Casey Love was next to me running a booth, and he even gave me an airbrush. Mike, if you ever decide to try it, here, take one of these airbrushes. I got an extra one from the thing I did. I want you to have an airbrush in your arsenal. And I did have one from going to art school, and I have airbrushed on on flat surfaces. But I never felt that an airbrush did justice to the texture of the surface of a sculpture. I mean, to airbrush a smooth-skinned Elvira woman, perfect. But to airbrush something like a Sitting Hill kit or something, or like a Future or something with crazy surface detail, me personally, I think it does the sculpture a disservice. But I'm a nut about it, so.
I agree with you 100%. It's so weird. I totally agree. And I want people to look at this and know, like, you don't need an airbrush to paint well.
No.
And the fact that you
No.
proved my, like, there has been this like push on airbrushes since we've started. Like, you need an airbrush to be able to do this. You need an airbrush. You do not. You can do things just as well, if not better. Because I think a lot of people get hung up on their airbrush. They're like, I got to airbrush everything. Because like, and you definitely do not. And there's so many people out there that prove that wrong, and you're one of them. Because this is I think
the opposite. So well. I think it's going the other way. Less airbrushing.
No, I think it is too. But
okay, because like, you know, you've got like Phil doesn't airbrush, Rob Madison I know doesn't airbrush. I mean,
that is true. But in the miniature side of thing, it's the opposite of that. They're going back, and the miniature guys are just getting into airbrushes, and they're like, there's people that have their own signature. Yeah. And they're sitting there like airbrushing, which it's good for lighting effects and stuff, but they'll airbrush like little stuff like this. But man, wow. Okay.
Yeah, you're lucky you can glue those together without sticking your hands together.
I know. So when
he's the most accident-prone modeler in the world.
I was just gonna say, you asked him about how I do them color blends. It's all just like wet blend. Any paint job that I start, I'm just wet blending the colors with the brush, stippling them together. And that Skeksis, that's just painted with cheap acrylic craft paint, folk art.
See, that was going to be my next question. What paint brand? And you just answered it. You can do amazing things with craft paint. And for, again, you don't need this, and you don't. Craft paint works. It totally does.
Yep. Yep. Now, one thing I've always used, which helps any paint, it's kind of my magic, are Winsor & Newton drawing inks. I use them I'm using them less now because I actually started using Citadel paints again after 30 years of not using them. And I've been able to do away with some of my Winsor & Newton inks. But the Winsor & Newton inks are really clear, and they dry like a varnish where they're a little bit shiny. But man, you water them down and you can pump up any color by just laying them over it. Now, if you lay them over it and then you do wet painting over that, you start to run into issues because they reactivate. But if you do that strategically, that reactivation does magic on very light coats of paint and washes put over it. So that's where all my blends come from. A wet blending first, and then inks and washes, dry brush, inks and washes, inks and washes. That's all how it's done.
It's more fun too. For me, like, I love that I love brush painting. It feels more just natural than Citadel paints for a second. If someone paint, there's paint's a big story this week. If someone's going to get into trying out some Citadel colors, is there a certain color that's like your go-to color? Like this is my color I use for a lot of things. Like, which colors do you recommend people picking up? And I wonder if they're the same ones I've recommended in the past.
Well, I started with just getting some of the little box sets that they made, like the Space Marine / Necron box set. But the ones that I'm most impressed with are the contrast paints. I use the Agarax Earthshade and those browns and those rust colors so much. More than probably any other one. Yeah, man. And just what the contrast ones do, like even on bone, I used to have like a 10-step process of dark browns, lighter browns, camel color, white, then ink them down with a red brown ink, and then dry brush again. Now I prime it gray, and I take the one bone, the contrast bone color. I forget what the names are crazy. Yes, yeah, it might be Skeleton Horde, and just paint that over the gray, let it dry, and then just go back from there and start tweaking. Amazing. The contrast paints are amazing.
Yeah, I totally agree. These or Agrax Earthshade. It's an amazing color just for like darkening and griming stuff up. Their new one is really new for people. I'm gonna recommend. Mortarion Grime is a great, just like gross
Yes.
kind of like
Yep.
dirty brown,
Yep.
green brown. Oh, it's so good. But yeah, everybody should check out some of the contrast in their they're called shade paints. They're like their washes. But give them a try. Pick up a few of them. They work. It's like magic in a bottle sometimes. Some of that stuff is just, it's beautiful what they do.
They are. And they're expensive. I mean, I'm used to buying $3 bottles of paint from buying craft paints.
They're expensive.
But that's one of the paints where it's worth the money. They're really, really good. Plus, on a rare occasion, and that's going to sound odd because I don't airbrush, but I do have a real nice set of the Pache airbrush paints. It's like Paache.
Yeah.
The reason they're latex based. The reason I got those is because I had a big latex piece that I had to paint, and everybody's telling me, dude, you can't just do it with acrylic paint, it'll crack.
Yeah.
So I had to track down the latex paint, and even though I didn't airbrush them, at first was a nightmare because they're real, like, kind of translucent, but I started working on stippling them, and they got worked into my thing. And a lot of the flesh paint jobs I've done have been those Posh airbrush paints because, again, they really interact with each other in a neat way, being that they're latex based.
And I've been looking for it because I was thinking about getting into making some masks, so that's good to know. I want to.
They're a good.
What's from Distortions? He just uses like the latex house paint, blended into his big spray gun, and just sprays it all down.
Yep.
Yep. I want to talk about Etsy for a second.
Okay.
You have a very large. That's where you do most of your selling, right? It's through Etsy.
Yep.
Walk us through it. Have you had any problems with that Etsy? Is it easy? How does it work if someone wants to sign up? Like, do they, like, tax form wise, do they take care of that end? Like, how does it work when you set up an Etsy shop? Is it hard? Is it easy?
No, honestly, it's pretty easy. I've had mine for 6 years going now. Really the only thing that aggravated me is their fees are a little high. But again, you just have to build that into the cost of your stuff. And it's not just their base fees. You know, they say their base fees are 9%, but in actuality, it's like 13%. Because if I sell something for $100, I get $87. You know, you can tell how much it is. Anyway, you just got to build that in. Now they do a weird thing like off-site advertising. Okay, so they don't charge you to advertise. They just advertise you. And then if you get a sale through that, on top of the 13% they take another 12%.
Oh.
So on those sales, you're getting hit for 25% before my store discount. And that's another secret I learned.
Is that something you can opt out of, or is that just how it is?
No.
Wow.
No.
Okay. All right.
You got no option. So that bothered me. But again, you got to, and it's very rare, like probably 5 to 10% of my sales all year fall under that. Okay. So it's not much. But you do have to, you have to take it into account. You definitely have to take it into account. And I also always run a sale. That's one of the other secrets I've learned. If you run a sale, Etsy gives you better placement. They give you more, like, they put your name out there more, I guess, or they advertise you more for free. So I kind of realized that you kind of just have to have a 10% sale running all year long, and Etsy shares you more. So that I do. And now some months it's maybe even 20%, like around Christmas, I'll do 20% months. But that was, I like Etsy. I will admit that even though the fees are a little high sometimes, I've never had an issue where they've taken someone's side over mine. They've been pretty loyal to me. They pay me.
We're currently at 15%, by the way.
We're at 15. What are you talking about?
15%.
We're currently at 15.
Oh, no. Okay.
So wait till Christmas. No, I'm just
kidding.
Their
fees. my sale. Yes. But they're good. I can't complain about Etsy. I can't complain. They're good. And I mean, I just hit a minor landmark. I'm not really a bragging guy, but this year I hit 100. Now, this is not this year. In 6 years I've been on Etsy, I've now actually sold $100,000 worth of art through Etsy. They took their, 15 or 20% of that. So I didn't make no $100,000, but I actually in 6 years sold $100,000. through Etsy. So I think that's that's
Congratulations,
probably
that's a huge deal.
90,000 more than I would have sold. Thank you.
That's awesome. Do you think you see more interaction through Instagram or Facebook?
It's hard to say. They got the little thing on Etsy tells me where I've got more sales from. Etsy says I get more sales from Instagram. I feel a lot of times I get more personal interaction and more people sharing and talking about my work on Facebook.
Yeah.
But they say more of my sales come from Instagram. So I don't know. But both help. I mean, anything helps. It's crazy. I feel like you're doing really good on social media, and then the next thing you know, you lost 100 followers, and you don't go up again for a month. And I'll never quite understand what they call thing that
the algorithms.
I forget what they call it. That rotten guy, rotten algorithm. So I don't quite understand how that works, but I can't.
I tell you what, I wouldn't want to be on Jason's. I'll tell you that right now. You do not want to be on Jason's.
I look at cool stuff. What are you talking about? Oh man. Looking through here, also, I had to ask. I'm going to beat Scott to this question. Your Tomb of the Blind Dead, is that your hair that you use for the beard?
No. I'm too OCD and too much of a germ nut to ever let any of my body parts go out. So that is a nice synthetic crepe hair.
Okay.
I'd be worried somebody be putting me on a little voodoo doll and making me sculpt for him for free or something,
way back when who made the Mortal Kombat Goro way back, like in the early 90s.
Was that Streamline or
Dark
something?
Horse. Streamline. Yeah, it was Streamline. So he had he has that thing, the top knot, and I had dyed black hair at the time.
Yeah.
And I had just shaved my head. I'll take a picture of it upstairs and post it here. And I didn't like the sculpted one that came with it. So I took a lock of my hair, Avies or Milliput around it, and made that top knot using my real hair. So it has my old dyed black hair on the back of his head. And that's why I was wondering when I saw this. I'm like, I wonder if that's his beard hair. But no, these are cool.
No, I have lots of early kits that have my own hair on them, but not these that I now sell to people.
Just even, I want so your Mars Attack guys here. Again, the blending on here, again, all brush. You can do it like airbrush, not necessary. Yeah. And get in there and just, use a paintbrush. It's so much fun. Man.
Yep.
Anything you got coming up that you want to share or talk about? Any of the cool new stuff coming?
Yeah. Besides the 31, I got a couple. I'm gonna get back into my alien stuff. One of my favorite sculpts was my alien Queen's Handmaiden relief.
Okay.
And I got some new alien stuff coming, which I'm real excited about. I got an alien profile relief coming. So it's a nice, 8-inch long alien head. Like it's going to be a classic Alien 1 movie, alien head from the side. I got a clone number Alien Resurrection coming, which is the Ripley clone body with breasts, but with the crazy alien head. That's another relief coming. So I got some nice alien things coming. I got a lot of stuff coming. I mean, I've probably got about 50 sculpts in the process of being finished up and getting molded right now with the last 31 I just did. And
so I'm looking at your Etsy. I noticed you sell painted ones as well. What would you say your ratio is painted to unpainted? Do you sell a lot of painted pieces or not? Are people more intimidated by the price, or some people, they just want the piece. They're not even kit builders or anything like that,
I mean, I definitely sell more unpainted, but I probably do a third of my sales of painted stuff and 2/3 unpainted.
Okay.
I do sell a lot of, right now I've got about 75 painted pieces that I'm sold out of, that I've sold and I got to repaint replacements for. That ends up being the hardest part, is sculpting and stuff I can manage, but trying to stay on top of keeping all of my 160 sculpts in stock as painted pieces, that's the challenge.
So then here's my next question.
Some of them sit on,
Do you try to paint them all the same? Like, okay, so I'm looking at the Mummy. When someone orders that, is that the one they get, or do you paint another one and then rephotograph it and all that, or?
Nope, everyone on there that you see is what you get. I painted up fully before listed on the store.
Gotcha.
I try to do variants. Like on the aliens, I've probably painted like 15 different color versions on my aliens. But some things I paint it the same way every time, like if it works. Like on the Mars Attacks guy, I try to stick with the same green, blue colorways. That mummy that's on there, the new mummy, there's kind of got like greenish, bluish wrappings on them. Well, I did two of him initially, and the other one was more like a black and white version. So I do try to do multiple color variants on the painted guys, and a lot of times just to see what's going to be the more popular version. You know, I don't want to miss out by just doing one color on somebody.
I'm gonna hold this up. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. It will be easier for me to share. That guy, I love the sinister ass look in his face. Like I'll put it.
Thank you.
I'll put it up on the screen in a minute. But oh my god,
my rigor mortis, the ghoul.
Yeah, I love that thing.
Some of my favorite subject matter to sculpt are zombies. I mean, I'm a George Romero kid. Everything can be made better with zombies in it, I think. So definitely
Star Wars zombies.
One of my favorite subject matter.
Do you have any pets, Mike?
Yeah, I grew up all my life with dogs, but now in this apartment that I'm at for the last 25 years, I didn't have no pet. I had fish, lizards, but then about 8 years ago, a friend of ours moved in, and she brought cats with her, and I'm like, oh my god, she's everywhere. But man, I don't know what happened. They captured my heart, those cats. So when she left, we ended up taking in a cat that was born under our shed. Now we got 2 cats.
Oh, okay.
I'm a sucker for the cat.
You plan on attending Jersey Fest, this upcoming Jersey Fest?
Yeah, I think I have to.
Yes, you do.
I haven't actually paid for my table yet because money's been tight. But just to go see the guys, to see Todd. I haven't seen Todd because he's in Pensy, so the only time we get to hang out all year is at Jersey Fest. So
okay,
I will definitely be there. Probably 90% chance I will have a table.
Cool.
See, the thing is with Jersey Fest is it's 15 minutes from my house, so I told everybody, like, even if I'm not gonna have a table, I'll be there partying.
Yeah,
because it's just too close not to go. But I'm gonna have a table. I got enough time to save up the money for a table. So it just scares me now because all of the past years, I always precasted my resin. And I had to stop doing that in the last years because sales were much slower and, the economy was so bad. So now, like, when somebody orders one single thing, even if it says I got 5 in stock on Etsy, I'm casting that to order. So it kind of scares me to cast up the kind of 50, 60 pieces that I used to cast for a Jersey Fest. If they don't sell, then I'm sitting on all this resin. Yeah. But what the hell? It's so much fun to go and do that. I'm definitely going to go and do it.
That brings up, how did you learn how to cast and mold?
I started doing it just because of trying to sculpt 30 years ago. So I actually bought mold rubber and tried it. I was always very into experimenting. I actually went to a black market dentist one time when I was like 17 years old in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and bought dental supplies so I could make my own fang.
What is he, like the dentist to the mob out there? Like a black...
Dude, that might be too far off. He was a dude doing dental work out of his house in a shifty part of town, but it worked.
Hey,
my father flipped out a little bit. My father comes home from work one day and finds a whole pallet full of dental supplies and plaster and shit delivered. It's like, what in the world is my son into now? But I was doing dental acrylic fangs for a long time off of that. So
cool. Oh man, my parents. Never mind. Not even gonna bring that.
What? Come on, give us another traveling bondage.
No, that same kind of thing. No, it was. I would find. I earned the nickname Dahmer when I was. Because I would find some roadkill. I would try and boil the skulls to get the skin off.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So my parents, I'd be out on the grill in the backyard, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Nothing. Never mind."
He's got a fire problem. Just so you know,
I do
Mike.
have a
He's
fire
got a fire problem.
I do have a fire problem. I will admit I have a fire problem. I love fire.
Let me ask. So Mike, you worked with plaster a little bit. Do you ever think it was a good idea to stick your arm in a bucket of plaster and because we know a guy that did this. Okay.
I've done things like that. I have to admit, I have done things like that. I did put my hand in a bucket of plaster once to try and make a resin cast of my hand, and then had to have my hand smashed out with a hammer.
Oh, the same story!
Yeah.
Oh my God! The same thing! Did the fire department come?
No.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Did you have what'd you have? 3rd degree burns too?
I had 2nd degree. Really.
2nd degree burns. Okay.
Yeah, not fun. Not fun.
See,
at least I never put Zap-A-Gap in my eye, thinking it was. I had a couple friends that did that. Grabbed Zap-A-Gap, thinking it's eye drops, and put the Zap-A-Gap in their eye.
Okay, I gotta ask, how fucked up are you for that to happen? Okay, like.
Oh, dude. Oh, and I heard you guys mention the other time, I have also drank out of my paint water cup.
Yep.
Many times.
You know what I've done more than drink out of the paint water cup? I've washed my brush in my coffee and then drank the coffee anyway. Where I'm like, oh, fuck it.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep. I got a bad history with eating things I shouldn't eat. My father worked at. This is a good one. I enjoyed licking liquid mercury when I was a child.
What?
So that might explain why I'm not quite all there.
Yeah, that could do it.
My dad worked for a company called Merck's, which is like a huge pharmaceutical company out here in Jersey. And all these unusual things would find their way to our house, like, a big giant 5-gallon, well, not 5-gallon, but like, a quart-sized jug of liquid mercury. So, I mean, as a kid, this was the neatest stuff in the world, dude. And because of me and my brothers, there was liquid mercury all over the basement. I mean, you could just go down there and play with it. And I don't know, I was always tasting everything. So I tasted liquid mercury more than once. And
I remember same thing. We would drop, like if we dropped a thermometer, right? And the mercury would fall. Me and my brother would sit there and like push it around the kitchen table or wherever it fell and play. But I never put it in my mouth.
Yeah, no, I tasted it. I tasted it.
Or no,
a few times.
Oh, wait a minute. One of us, I don't remember. It was either me or my brother. Was it me? Oh shit! I think a thermometer broke in my mouth once. And
what were you doing?
I think I was like just chomping or something. That memory is coming back to me. That memory is coming back. Was it me? I'll have to ask. I don't know. It might have been me. Oh shit. All right. Anyway.
Fucking freak show. I swear to God, you are.
Yeah. No, it happens. It happens.
Yeah. See, me and Mike. I think we're twins, separated by a couple years at some point.
Oh,
there's definitely a lot of similarities.
Yeah, for sure.
This is what happens when there's a generation difference. So I'm 59. So I'm like almost 10 years older than you guys. And we were smarter that we didn't do shit like that. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
You were smarter.
I think my 10-year-old sisters are definitely smarter than me. Definitely.
We had no parents watching over us most of the time as Gen Xers, so we had to fucking make our own fun.
Yeah. Did you ever hear of a G.I. Joe? Or,
but you would light the G.I. Joes on fire or blow them up. That's what G.I. Joes were for.
Oh yeah.
Right. Mike, let me ask you a few of our standard guest questions.
All right, standard guest questions. Go, Scott.
Yes.
If you knocked a tube of toothpaste into the toilet, would you still use it or would you throw it away?
Time out. No. You're leaving out a detail.
What? Because the cap's on?
Cap's on.
Okay. Cap's on the tube of toothpaste. You knock it in the toilet. What do you do?
Man.
You already ate mercury, dude, so it don't matter. Your answer's...
I'm a crazy germaphobe, kind of, even for like a big, ugly, dirty-looking Sasquatch of a guy. I'm like a nut about germaphobe kind of thing. And unfortunately, I'm in the bathroom when what comes out of me comes out of me. So I know better than any of the unholy terrors that have fallen into that toilet. So I would probably have to lose that toothpaste.
You got a holy
I might have
terror.
to lose it.
Let it falling out of me. That's priceless.
Would you let a dog lick you in the mouth?
Oh yeah, I grew up with dogs. I had dog brothers that put their tongue in my mouth all the time. Unfortunately, I hate to admit it, but
Oh
yeah,
my God. Okay.
I
There
got
you
no.
go.
For a germaphobe, dog is okay. They say their mouths are cleaner than ours. So
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, no,
man.
I am a walking hypocrite.
All right. Favorite movie? What do you got? What's your favorite movie of all time? Do you have one?
Man,
Can you narrow it
one
down
of
to
my
two?
greatest passions in life is watching movies. All right. If I got to give you two,
Me too.
man, I love comedies more than anything. But for this thing, I'll talk sci-fi horror.
Oh,
so
no, you can
No.
anything.
Give us a
Anything.
comedy. Give us the comedy. Because that was your first go-to. What's your favorite?
Oh, my favorite comedy. One of them, Caddyshack. Stir Crazy
Okay.
with Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
But I'll give you a sci-fi. Dune, the David Lynch's Dune, probably one of my favorite sci-fi movies.
Good stuff.
Frankenstein, original Frankenstein, my favorite horror movie. Probably my favorite monster, the original Frankenstein.
What kind of music do you like?
Kinds. I mean,
If he says Barry Manilow, we're out.
I like Tool.
Tool. Okay.
I'll listen to one or two Barry Manilow songs. Shit. I'm a son of the 70s. I like a lot of, I'll listen to some England Dan and John Ford Coley. I mean, I love Tool and Mudvayne and, and this kind of stuff. But I'll listen to the Commodores. I'll listen to Earth, Wind, and Fire. Any kind of music, man. I'll listen to Mozart. I'm pretty open on music.
Cool.
I can't stand no damn REM though. I'll say that. I mean,
Wow.
There's some groups I just.
What's the hatred for
nothing to do with no
REM?
damn REM.
Where's this?
I don't know.
You're not a
that's
shiny,
what's
happy
aggravating.
people person? What? Like,
Oh no, I want to
But there's
smash
some-
your head
there's-
with a brick when that song came out.
there's some good old REM. Like, but yeah, when that stuff, man. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I don't hate it all, but I've always been bad like that. Like Metallica, everybody in the world loves Metallica. I can't stand Metallica. The second Metallica went orchestral, I ran out the building screaming and never went back. And I don't know why. They're great. I'm saying they're not great musicians. They're great musicians. I kind of like them as people a little bit. But to me, and I shouldn't say this, they're so repetitive. To me, it's just this. Every song is the same. But then one of my favorite groups is Rush. So how hypocritical is to say that Metallica is too repetitive and Rush isn't,
Yeah. Oh,
I saw
man.
Rush's the last tour. I saw that last tour of Rush's. So yeah. Which is the second time I've seen him.
I love Rush hardcore. Yeah, I seen him a bunch back in.
Oh no, I saw him 3 times. I'm sorry, I've seen him 3 times. So
Never seen Rush.
Yeah.
No, Jason's never been to a big venue. Well,
That's
no,
not
you went
true.
to Soldier Field this year.
I did go to Soldier Field.
But the big venue here is the United Center, which is like where the Bulls and Blackhawks play. And we went to a concert there, and he had never been to a concert there. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
No, I don't go to the big ones.
He likes all this death metal, Nazi, punk, hate music. Okay.
Right here. Odruna. Oh my God.
Well,
anyway.
I will admit that I was just gonna say I got a soft spot in my heart for a little bit of a little Duhasmus because some Rammstein.
That's who I saw at
'cause I'm
Soldier Field
German,
this year. Rammstein.
Yeah, no.
Seen them
I
3
like a little
times
bit
now.
of that,
4
yeah.
times? Best place for people to get a hold of you, buy your stuff. Let's support Mike Swisstack and Cthulhugizzard Customs. Where do people find your stuff? Best place. We'll put all the links and everything down below, but just shout out whatever you got to shout out.
I guess, a Mike Swisstack or a Cthulhugizzard at Cthulhugizzard Customs on Facebook, because every post I do, I got a link to my Etsy store in there. Same thing on Instagram. I may be an okay artist, but there's one thing I'm good at. I am a shameless self-promoter. I've learned that trick long ago.
I'm terrible
So,
at that.
but everything's got a link, you know. Instagram is the same thing as Mike Swisstack or Cthulhugizzard or Etsy. You know, and I had a dude tell me once, yo, man, Etsy's for women's knitting shit. I ain't buying nothing off Etsy. I'm like, okay, dude, then you can buy it through PayPal. Just contact me, and anybody could buy anything through PayPal if they don't want to go through Etsy.
Okay.
So
cool.
I'm easy, you know.
Awesome. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm glad we got all the little technical difficulties worked out because this was fun. We'll have you back
I'm
another
so
time.
sorry.
Man. Oh, no, nothing to be sorry about.
I love it.
Thanks, Squid, for us for helping out.
It was awesome, guys.
Yeah.
And tell her I feel her junior high teacher
will.
pain.
Yes, I definitely will. She'll get a big kick out of that. And you share
And
that same
my hands.
pain
Does she do? Does she do clay at work? Because mine are. It's January. My hands are fried.
Not as much. She had a whole kiln in there and everything for doing clay, but the kids out here in Jersey, they're too insane. She kind of had to lay off the kiln and the clay because every class after that was getting clay fights and clay thrown. And
yeah.
So I don't know how much clay she's doing now.
It's just telling those stories today.
But seriously, Jersey kids, you know,
they're as good as the Chicago kids, I'm sure, around here. Again,
Jason is an art teacher / fight referee.
That's what I am. Oh, man. All right. Thanks, Mike. You're the best. And we'll be right back. All right. That was Mike. Scott, awesome. What'd you think?
I like Mike. And I
like Mike, too.
I like Squid, too. She was on a little bit before the interview, helping him get set up. But
Squid and I have the same job, which is
Squid, you have the
we
same
feel
job.
each other's pain. That's awesome.
Thanks,
thanks for joining us. It was, I think, a really cool conversation. And we'll, again, anytime, Mike, you got something, we'll share it out. And visit his page. All the information is down below. Okay. Emails, voicemails, and corrections.
Right,
no correct. Do we have corrections?
There
was something, and now I forgot what it was.
Fuck would I know? Oh, that's right. I was on the last episode.
You were on the last episode.
Yeah, no, I don't. Then it was probably perfect.
There was something. I forgot. Whatever. Again, jank is the key term. We have 2 emails. Dude, turn your phone off.
Shut up.
Turn it off, man. We're almost done.
You stuck in a word?
Huh? No, I was waiting for you. Are you done?
I'm ready.
Oh, okay. No, I thought you were still playing on your phone.
I'm sitting here looking like
I'm looking down at the paper waiting for me.
Oh, I'm sorry. You need a verbal cue?
Yes, I needed a cue. All right. Our first email is from Jerry Frade. Hi, Jason. I'm not reading my reader, so bear with me. Hi, Jason. I attached pics of my latest build if it makes this week's cut. So we have some picture, a kit from Jerry in the gallery after this.
Mm-hmm.
The next
everyone knows there is no cut. Everybody makes the cut.
Yeah, there's no cut.
Right?
Yeah, please. That happens a lot, actually. People are like, oh, if you would please, if you can. Everything gets in.
You
no
get
matter
what.
Still
get on.
Yep. Yeah. You could.
If you send us 100 pictures of the same kit, you might only get 3.
That's a different story. Yes. Okay. If you send us 500 pictures like has happened, they slowly make it onto each episode. It really helps if people send in 3 or 4. If you send in 50 shots of the same thing, you're still only getting like 3 or 4.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. But if you just send 100 pictures of 100 different things, they will slowly get put on the show. Like Roy Barrel. So, Roy, we're out of pictures. You need to send more stuff. Hi, Jason. I attached pics of my latest build. If it makes this week's cut. The next info, you can use it or not, but either way, you're welcome to join if you wish. It's open to all. So I wanted to read this on the show for everybody. I'm a member of a Facebook group called the Styrene Syndicate, a modelers group of all types, from cars, ships, airplanes, sci-fi, figures. On Friday nights, we have a hangout, kind of like what you guys do on Saturday on Discord. A few months ago, many of the group members that never painted figures before wanted to learn how to do so since the 3D printed kits are becoming so popular. So for the last few months, we began a Saturday afternoon YouTube live painting class. This class is headed by Gilbert from Red Dragon Model Works. Gilbert's specialty is figure painting. Now remember, when we began, many of the members never painted a figure before. Okay, Mike from NY3D Creations, who has helped us supplying the kits for these classes. Since the start, the members' figure painting level has improved tremendously. As you know, I've been painting figures for the last couple years, but Gilbert always has something new that he brings to the class that is new to me. He's a true mentor. Now the group has grown and we have people following along from home live or checking back at the episode to help them out. The Saturday class is now called The Way of the Dragon, and anyone can watch or join in and follow a bunch of the old farts paint model kits. We are currently going to be working on some garage kits sponsored by Hang Hilger from Hang's Model Kits. We know Hang. Hang was awesome to supply the kits for the next few classes. We're hoping that people have the fear of slapping the first coat of paint on a kit will dare to take the brush and give it a go. Check it out. Thank you for what you guys do. Jerry Frade from Just Paint It on YouTube. And we have the links. So please, everybody, head on over there to The Way of the Dragon. It's going to be down in the description, and watch their show. I know I'm going to go watch. If I'm around on a Saturday, maybe I'll be able to watch it live and check it out. Thank you so much, Jerry.
Like and subscribe to their channel as well.
Yeah, please like and subscribe. Read all those
2 hours
guys.
first.
Yep. Yes, please. And then we will get all that stuff will be down there. All right. Final email.
Oh boy. Oh, I've missed this.
No,
Hope it's your paint cup.
You say good grief. This is a 3-pager.
Yeah, CG Blade?
No, this is a Greg Domian. Oh, Greg Domian. I said Domian. How dumb am I? And it's funny. I was just thinking about Greg the other day, and he said, I hope it was all good things. It was good things. Greg Domian. Here we go.
Greg Domian?
What?
It's Greg Domian?
Domian.
No, you just said his name like 50 times.
Greg Domian. It's Greg Domian.
Why don't you get him a button?
You know what? I will. I'll make a fake one right now. Wait. Done it. I'm afraid to read this because it's so long. All right, here we go. Hi, guys. Hey, guys. I already screwed up. Hey, guys. Time for another letter, and since it's been a while, I figured this episode's topic was a good one to comment on. So first off, I have to say I was disappointed when we found out Scott was going to take a sabbatical from the show, but having Brian as a guest co-host was also a breath of fresh air. No offense, Scott. No offense, Scott, but bringing Brian to the show allowed Jason and Brian to discuss things that fell silent for the most part with Scott, i.e. discussing movies you have seen, models you are working on, etc. Again, not to take anything away from Scott, who brings to what Scott brings to the show, but Brian makes it different. So my suggestion is that once Scott gets back on the show full time, I think you should make it a trio. Some of the discussions you have had between the three of you were superb. And until then, Brian makes a great guest host. As I remember, when you guys started this little experiment, there were 3 of you hosting the show, so why not go back to it? I know coordination will be the biggest obstacle for the 3 of you, but when it can be done, I think you should do it. So let's pause there. And I think that's what's going to happen when we can do it. We'll try and make it work. I think this was prior to the 3rd show coming out, the other show. So I think a lot of that other conversation is going to take place on a model in a movie. And we'll probably keep this guest, because especially when we have a guest, then it's 4 people on screen and it's just crowded. And
if you've seen the size of him, the screen's, it's crowded already.
Yeah, gotta take your shots. But yes, I agree. It does work well. And we originally were going to do it 3 people, but then scheduling
became Greg's address, by the way.
So let's talk about painting, or why we do what we do. I was going to do a deep dive into this topic with a lot of examples and reasonings, but after writing a few paragraphs, I finally realized no one is going to want to hear all the BS about this topic. I was in the process of dissecting. Screw that. It's all basically comes down to what makes you happy in this hobby. There are those of us who just enjoy slapping paint on a kit and calling it a day, knowing they have built something and they are proud of and don't care who sees it or who cares about it. There are those who want to be recognized for the work they do and will post on Facebook or other forums to show what they made. Look what I did, accepting all the likes and praises their fellow builders will heap on them. There are those of us who want to excel at their art and craft and spend 300 plus hours on a kit to create perfection, not a single flaw showing. And then there are the trophy hunters whose only goal is to accumulate hardware no matter how good or bad their pieces are. And if they don't win first place or a gold, then they somehow were robbed. I think the majority of us want to strive for a bit of all of this, in some small part at least. I know in my short 3 years of being in the hobby full time, I have been in all of these places in some degree or another. Of course, I have only been in 2 model contests and have never won a gold or a first place award, but I sure like to know what it feels like. Would I quit entering contests if I did win a gold? No, because for me, it is an outlet to show my work or win or lose. I do like to show my work because I want to hear what people have to say and are always looking for criticism. In my situation, the only people that see my work for the most part is my wife and maybe a few very close friends. All of my kits are in my collecting room because I had them in other places of the house. Cats would destroy them. Cat. Here we go with the cats again. My collecting room is off limits to most people. Jason knows why. I do know why. So having my kits at a show gives me an avenue to display them. Facebook is okay, but photos don't really show the kits in a more personal environment that a show allows. A little ego showing? Yes, but we all have some. Scott doesn't have any ego. What are you talking about? Nope, none there. What I do miss is criticism. No one seems to want to criticize someone's work, even when asked for it. Every time I post on Facebook, I ask for honest criticism, but no one wants to speak up. I think most are afraid to offend people's work. My wife is my fiercest critic, and I will show her partial paint-ups, and she will ask me why I use this color, or tell me this is too orange, or what is this on his face. I will state my reasons and defend my position, but after I go back and rethink what she said, I usually finally accept this is the right way to go, probably. I will state my reasons.
Probably watching.
Right. I will.
That's all right, Greg. I won't tell her what you said at the picnic. Okay, it's all right. All right.
Stop it. Stop it. I will state my reasons and defend my position, but after I go back and rethink what she said, I usually finally accept she was right and then make the necessary changes. I do think we need outside sources to give us a different perspective on our work we may miss. Totally agree. Okay, enough of that. I know you guys like to discuss out of the mainstream movies and such, so let me throw a few series I have watched in the past few years on Netflix. Most of these are foreign made. Oh, Scott's going to love this. From Korea or Japan, but a lot are fun and interesting. For starters, there is Alice in Borderland from Japan. 2 seasons so far. All of Us Are Dead is a Korean zombie apocalypse series. Hellbound is also a Korean and involves demons. I think I'll have to go back. Sweet Home is an apocalyptic monster related to some great creatures that need to be made into kits. Just a few to check out. Until next time, take care. Keep up the good work. I'd subscribe again to build up your numbers, but I don't think that is allowed. Greg Damian. Great email. Even though I read it pretty good.
Well, you
gotta give me credit.
I didn't like the part that he liked Brian Clark so much. So
I told you.
Greg, send me those pictures. I'll be happy to critique your work.
But no, I'm gonna check out some of these series actually. Those sound good. That's the show, everybody. 64.
That's it, huh?
Yeah, that's the show.
So everybody be sure to check out Jason's unboxing video of the Kraken.
Oh, you're going? Okay.
And the you just did the Cyclops as well, the X Plus Cyclops, which mine's still sitting over there. And the new character, the Radosaurus. Apparently it's a lost Harryhausen creature. The Radosaurus, and he would conduct panty raids apparently on something. And that's why he's the Radosaurus.
So Scott has mentioned this to me many times now. And I want to just, we'll go on the record.
I want Spike to go look at it and tell me what you said.
I say Radosaurus, but I say it like this. Radosaurus. Right?
It's Radosaurus. Okay. Whatever.
That's how I
don't care how you say it. You said Raid.
But that's how I say it. So let me just give you a little background info on me. That you always make fun of me for. You ready? Ready?
Not hard. Do you read a book? No. Okay. You read a book. You've read a book. Okay.
I have.
You don't read a book.
No. But I do have an anxiety disorder. And when my anxiety goes high and I'm nervous, I mumble. And I say things inappropriate.
Of the fucking thing.
Doesn't matter. So when I have a problem and my anxiety and my mental issues, I can't go and hide for a month off somewhere. You get to go. Mine show up on the screen.
Do you know
Yours
why?
do not.
You know why I get to do it?
Uh-huh. Why?
I'm the talent.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
You're the talent.
right?
Uh-huh.
You want viewers?
So
you
when
want
I
subscribers?
mumble or when I
Okay.
say something fast, it's because I'm nervous. And it's a great thing to make fun of me incessantly for the last 2 weeks. I love it. Keep doing it.
Rhedosaurus. No,
I say
know what? It's not that I was
Rhedosaurus.
making fun of you.
You're making fun of me nonstop. What are you talking about?
No,
Go
I'm not
look in the
making fun of you.
comments.
I'm
You said it to
telling
her.
you-
You said it
No.
all day on Discord.
You
Come
made
on.
an error. Okay,
It's not an
You
error.
refused.
That's what I'm trying
It's
to
an error.
explain to you.
Okay,
It's
well,
not
don't
like I
care what caused
purposely
the
said
error.
Rhedosaurus. I said Rhedosaurus, and it sounds like Rhedosaurus, even though
It's
in my
like-
brain, my mouth doesn't work the same way.
It's like
it
when
doesn't
Nayert
work.
says
You
Yager.
don't understand,
okay?
and you'll
No,
never understand.
It's like
'cause
when
you're-
Nayert says Yager. Okay.
Oh,
You
now
two
you're going
oughta
to
get
drag
together
someone
and say,
else into it.
Hey, how many words can we mispronounce today? Okay, I'll say Yager. You
Okay.
say Rhedosaurus.
Okay. All right.
All right, Troy, come after me.
Come after him.
on. Come after me. I don't want to hear your little feel sorry for me bullshit excuses.
It's not an
okay?
excuse. It's the truth. I'm sorry you don't
read
have this
it.
problem.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
Read it.
That's the show, everybody. That's what you've been
Hey.
missing for the last month.
Hey, be sure to join us next time for the raid.
Okay. Goodbye,
Hey,
everyone. Take
Have
care.
you read any good books?
Yep, keep it going.
cat story.
A cat story. Here we go.
Yeah, well, when I was married to my first wife, we had 4 cats at one time.
Okay.
And I used to make the joke if I had 2 more, I'd have pallbearers for her dead pussy. And well, needless to say, that never went over well.
Oh man.
Needless to say, she's an ex-wife now. But anyway, all right. Sorry. That'll probably go on the blooper reel.
Yes, it will. I will. Remind me. Mark this part. I'll put this at the end. Oh man.